Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review, Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 6, Beyond the Wall. And here's two guys and a girl that are always whinging. We're bad motherfuckers that who knows how the fuck we live this long. And fuck, Viserion got shot with the magic javelin. Amazing. Javelin just skipped over Drogon and just went right into Viserion. Viserion woke up as an ice dragon. Holy shit, we got all that to talk about. Arya and Sansa to talk about, and also Dany and Tyrion to talk about. Basically just three stops tonight. We had the stuff in the north, which was the centerpiece of the episode. We had Dany and Tyrion as sort of a side story of sorts. And then the Sansa and Arya stuff, which I don't even know where to begin with. I think the line of the night, though, comes from Tormund talking about this entire plan. Only dumb people would come here and look for the dead. But again, this is one of those episodes of Game of Thrones that I think is going to be kind of polarizing. I think some people are going to really have a lot of issues with certain little things about the episode. There's some elements of this episode I liked a shit ton. Some of the character interactions I really liked. Some of the visual action scenes I thought were really, really well done. I thought the dragons kind of looked cool. Some of the White Walker stuff looked decent.
But was it worth it getting here, Phil? Was it worth all right, we're going ranging to get to this point?
We'll get to that, Joe, in a second. But before we go too far, because I sense a lot of Joe ranting tonight, we have with us the live motherfucking chat. We've got Gone, Antoine, Lady, Bionic, Steve, Danielle, Amanda, I saw Timo, and then we saw Bill. We got Igor, who we're playing a message from later. We have M. We have the great Joseph Stalin. We have SFLB. We have Hannibal. We have Quixote. We have Elizabeth Perkins. So many fucking people here. Quixote, yes, the Quixote. This was a request I'm wearing in honor of Thoros's death, and also a request from one of our wonderful motherfucking chatters. Quixote dared me to come on one show with a man bun. So here's this fucking bullshit for anyone listening to the audio cast. And we get a fucking ice dragon, okay?
I was wrong.
Whoa, stop the execution. Wait. Okay, we gotta get back to that in a second here. But before we go too far, holy shit, we got our first super chat donation of the night. Jade Dragon Melee with a $5 super chat donation. Thank you so much. Let me spin the motherfucking wheel and says a fucking ice dragon. We got Danny A, our good friend Danny A, in the live chat too. We got Katie back this week too. Joe's whinging, aka Joe Rant coming. Fucking yay. Oh, we got Nymeria in the live chat. Lots of love to Nymeria and Nick. So, okay, Joe, we don't really even have to talk about the leaks. The fact that this episode was leaked early in the week. A lot of people saw this episode early and people were talking about this. So a lot of people's opinions are already out there that have seen it. Joe, what were your just overall thoughts on this episode of Game of Thrones comparatively to some other second to last episodes of the seasons?
Okay, I thought first off, straight off the bat, that the Dragonfire scenes were not as exciting to me tonight as they were when we got to see the one dragon taking
the three dragons wasn't as good as one dragon.
Correct.
One dragon situation.
And I think it's not because one of the dragons went down, and it's not because they made it nice dragon. It's because we saw it. We get to see it again, and that's great, and it was still nice, and it was still pretty rad. But I think maybe this becomes a more impactful episode having not seen that 2 episodes ago. What was it? Yeah, 2 episodes ago.
Episode 4. And I forgot to set the scene a little bit. And if people want to call in, we have a call-in number. My overlay isn't working tonight, but the call-in number is 714-694-4120, or you can text or leave a voicemail at 781-990-8509. Katie, what did you think about this episode? Was the death of the dragon an emotional moment for you?
It was. I mean, I wasn't too terribly emotional. I kind of figured once they were up there, one of them had to go. It just seemed predictable, but it was fun. I liked the length of the episode. But
you like that length? I'm sorry.
Yes, the length was good. It was satisfying.
Thank you. Sorry. I I'm a dirty bastard, Katie.
But no, there were pieces of it that I took issue with, and we'll get to them in the recap.
I took more issues with this episode that with this last 3 episodes since the wagon burnings. I've just this whole it feels rushed. It feels
it is
unmotivated. Like there's a lot kind of wrong in this. And I think it's probably because they didn't have the correct source material to write it.
You're tiptoeing through the graveyard here a little bit with your criticism of the episode kicking off here. But I'd say this episode isn't without its warts, but overall, I still enjoyed it from beginning to end.
It was trash. You're right, Phil. I am tiptoeing. This episode was absolutely.
Don't tiptoe. If you think the episode's trash, say it, Joe. Don't have to be drunk to tell what you
want. Here it is. This is the right. What is it? This is the pinnacle episode. This is the peak of the season, right? This was supposed to be it's not the last episode. Yeah, you get a cliffhanger, but the season's peak before the end, right? Ned loses his head in episode 8 or 9 or some shit so, and then you have your wrap up. But I feel like this episode was compared to all the other, it was trash. It really was. The half an hour into it and we're still only having conversations back and forth. Okay, right, we're building up the super flash.
It wasn't my
fucking Gendry, fucking Arya Stark completely fucking bamboozled by Peter Baelish's fucking sly move. I found the letter that he was hiding. Done tailing Peter Baelish. Let me go kill my sister now. Weird shit. Just there's so much wrong with how there's no setup. It feels all rushed. I feel like the motivations aren't there. The character developments to have all just been kind of yeah. We've spent 5 seasons developing, 6 seasons developing these characters. So yeah, you know where we're going with this. All right, here you go.
Okay.
Right, here's your ice. Danny, I won't. We've gotten ravens. We've heard about the dead. Tyrion's heard about the dead. This person's heard about. Screw you, Jon Snow. Go convince the other queen first to do something. All right, we'll go bring back a dead person, but you're not going to come with us? No, I'm not. Okay, now I'm coming, and I'm coming alone, and I'm coming with my 3 dragons. I'm not listening to anybody. The episode was trash. The writing on it really does not feel...
You're being harsh, but...
I am being harsh because it deserves... This, to me, is my first absolute fail of a fucking episode. Even right down to... Yes, my first really fail episode. For this whole entire run, this is my least favorite episode. I feel even the action they gave us was just it was a poor man's fucking hard home, and it was a poor man's fucking wagon burning. It was here, we've given you these 2 things before, we're going to give them to you again. Absolutely nothing new here. God damn, fucking how long were they standing on that island for where Gendry ran all the way back to the fucking wall? They sent a Raven all the way to King's Landing. The Raven got there, and she flew all the way the fuck back on a dragon. Okay, maybe that's a quick travel, but just come on, right down to so the dragons fly off, and they're all right, cool, let's all just walk away, and Katie called it. In comes Q Benjamin Stark, right? She called it. So fucking called it. Fucking called it. And I'm where's he coming from? All of a sudden, through an army of fucking dead, he's gonna just roll
he was
through.
Watching from the sidelines. He was watching the whole fight.
Right, his flaming lantern, and Jon Snow just gets to crawl out of the ice fucking water. They're all the dead just walk away. Why wouldn't they just the immediate thing we're trying to kill is gone? Instead of let's flee this, why wouldn't they just start trying to get the dragon out of the water right then and there immediate? They had to go make the chains first. They got some great forges, those dead who hate fire.
They were ice powers. Okay, Joe. I don't want to stop the freight train, but it's a long evening, and we'll definitely get to more. But good start, Joe. Yes, good start. Yes. Let's take a couple. Let's get the audience in here. Lady, another super chat donation. Someone also got bite of a sandwich on the wheel, which I will definitely oblige you for in a second.
Mhm.
Lady Euron says, the cries of Rhaegal and Drogon made me cry as I watched their little
It
brother
was-
go down.
mhm.
A lot of people
Oh.
talk about babies. Now that a dragon is dead, that puts the rest of the heads of the dragon theory. Yeah, that puts the 3 dragon riders theory to death, or one of the dragon riders becomes the Night's King, probably. So let's spin the wheel for you and scroll down and see what the audience thinks. And let's just pause for a second and listen to this special message that we got from one of my favorite actors.
It just means Danny's gonna have another.
Your name is Bond. James Bond. 007, young chap. I liked my The Issues Guy streams. Shaken, not stirred, Moneypenny. Sean Connery here. Long-time fan, first-time caller. Ever since I retired, I find myself watching your streams while fondling my balls. My question, do you believe Viserion is an ice dragon or a zombie dragon?
Zombie dragon.
Well, a
Zombie
ice
dragon. Zombie dragon in ooh, Katie says ice dragon. I'd say a zombified ice dragon. I think it's
a zombie dragon. It's
Zombie ice
dead
dragon.
just like everything else. Why? Like, these aren't ice people. They aren't ice bears. They aren't ice fucking giants. They're fucking what? They're undead. It's an undead dragon. It's a zombie dragon. It's not an ice dragon. So I wasn't like, we'll see what it shoots out its mouth. If it shoots like fire or ice out its mouth, I guess.
Or
like
nothing.
or nothing.
Which
And
would,
let's
I
go to the
mean,
chat. You got to be damn dumb to freeze to death with a flaming sword. They're not taking bath. Preach, Joe. We got a lot of preach. KLC, great to see KLC in the live chat. Preach, Joe. We got a lot of preach, Joe. Joe's spot on. We need more of that tonight, Joe. Joe, how do you really feel? Joe's right. The writing of this episode was pretty bad. How does the Hound throw perfectly? Yeah, okay, we're gonna get to the Hound, which I love the Hound in this episode. I love Torm in this episode. I do like the character interactions and some of the funny stuff that went on. I think I'm higher on this episode than Joe, but I can't
Oh,
say.
you're high, all right, dude.
Speaking of maybe high, let's go to the telephone lines. Let's go to area code 989 first and see what area code 989 has to say. Caller, where are you calling from, and what do you have to say?
Oh, hey guys, it's Bill Sotheby. I'm in Michigan here.
Hey, Bill.
You know me. Here's the thing, like Joe, I agree with you like 99% on this episode. It's a 4.5 out of 10 at the most. But I disagree with you that it's not the worst episode of all, because there's some episodes in seasons 2 and 3 that are terrible. But my biggest problem, I mean, I liked, the only thing I really liked was the banter between the Fellowship as they were going north. All the different interactions where they kind of talked about
Brienne.
not trying to give back Longclaw. I like that. But there was so much stuff that was just like way too Hollywoody. And it's been seeping more and more into Game of Thrones as the seasons go on. The whole, you know, I guess Jamie didn't sing from his armor, but John's wearing a heavy wool cloak and he's all geared up in leather armor. That stuff's heavy as shit when it's wet.
Oh yeah.
Like, how did he didn't even have Bronn helping him up?
And Bill, not to interrupt you,
was-
and he came out of the water like Indiana Jones, where Longclaw was sitting there, just like Indiana Jones's hat. Like he came up in the water right where Longclaw was. Dude, that was pretty awesome.
Apparently,
it was fun. It was
apparently the Night King had his army dragging these like 4 massive chains across the country. Maybe that's why they're moving
Where'd
so
they get
slow.
the chains?
They were tugging these fucking chains across the north in case
Just
they
in
killed
case.
the dragon.
Where'd they get the chains?
That was so stupid. And then the Danny and
That just
John
occurred- yeah,
orgasm
yeah.
is just, I don't know. It's getting to be pretty. I still love the show. It's better than 90% of what the shit that's on TV, but it's, you know what I mean, right?
Right? No, absolutely.
It's-
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I-
One
Bill-
bad episode doesn't spoil the show
No,
for me
no,
yet.
No, still
No,
watching.
but great call, Bill. Great stuff as always. We got Assassin who gives a $2 donation. We got trumpet solo sort of ocarina, which I'll do a little bit later. Let's spin that for Assassin. Thank you so much, Assassin, for the super chat donation. Let's take another call from area code 781. Area code 781. How you doing tonight, and how'd you like the episode?
Mixed feelings. You know who this is, man.
Yeah.
What's up?
How's it going, buddy? How you doing?
Hannibal. Good. I don't know. I was thinking, when Danny rides her fucking dragons, You know, don't you think she should wear some fucking plate or something?
Fucking A,
Since
right,
it's fucking, since they're like throwing arrows at her. Why don't you wear some fucking armor, bitch? What the fuck's wrong with you? I mean, that's one thing.
Valid, yeah.
That's just one thing. Another thing, man. If fucking the Night King, right? Those fucking zombies can fucking run fast and shit, right? Why are they fucking walking so fucking slow when they're going around the wall? Why, if they don't have lungs, they don't have to fucking breathe. They can fucking run as fast as they want. Why don't they just fucking whip some fucking ass?
No,
Good point.
Good point. Good point, my friend. And I do think
they're trying to find. See, this. I got the answer to that. There's this big debate amongst fans of zombie. What do you like better, the rage zombie, or do you like the slow lurking zombie? And like that's the two type of zombie, right? So they're going for a nice meld here to make sure everybody's happy with their zombie. You got slow, you got the fast, you got a nice mix of zombie.
I gotta get to one point in the live motherfucking chat right now, just before we go by, and I'm just gonna laugh at this, but I have to say it. Joe is so unfair to Game of Thrones. He talks so good on shit shows like The Walking Dead and
Where is this? What?
Wait, I don't want to talk about that show, but whoever says that has never watched us talk about The Walking Dead. Anyway,
or they're just being cheeky.
Yeah, cheeky. They might be being cheeky.
I think they're being a little cheeky there.
Now, Michael Bennett, $20 donation on Super Chat. Thank you so much. All hail Katie of House Crow. Great to have her back on tonight. Of course, Phil and Joe are okay too. Or on point as well. Love you guys. Thank you, Michael Bennett. And also Pete Live Music donated. So we got a bunch of spins going on. A little bit later, I'll get into some spins. Oh, so let's spin. Let's spin the fucking
spins all over the place.
But it's too much to talk about. Too much to talk about in this episode. Let's get back into the live motherfucking chat a little bit here. Cheeky bastard. Yeah, we're saying maybe it's cheeky bastard. Season spoilers ruined the season for me. Let's go. What did the goat say? It's not trash. Calm the fuck down. Fuck zombies.
This episode is trash. Like, Game of Thrones has set a standard of television and what to expect from this program. That this episode, by its own standard that it has set for us as an audience, is trash.
It fails under analysis.
Scrutiny
ruins it.
Now, Joe,
all the action in this episode is rehashed from previous episodes. There seems to be nothing really original in this episode at all. True. Right down to like the forming of the ranging party.
It was fun though.
Now, Joe, tell me where on the doll the show touched you.
everywhere in the fleshy and red.
You're in the doll. In there.
Yikes.
Oh my goodness, Phil! It touched me everywhere. And that's the thing. Like it really. The
doll wasn't to scale. Sorry, the doll wasn't to scale.
Like all those memes you saw over the last week, if you were looking through your Facebooks and Twitters of like, the five of them walking through the gate with the World of Warcraft tags or like the Lord of the Rings tags. Like they got the clerk, the fighter, the prince, like all this shit. Like, come on, like it was just.
Rose says, "I'm glad Katie is back to keep Joe from poisoning himself with orange Fanta."
Oh yeah, no, there is no more Fanta.
That stuff is dangerous. That stuff is so dangerous.
We have no alcohol tonight. I got coffee and water. You're getting the straight dope from me.
Oh, nice. We got Dirty Issues giving us a $50 super chat donation, ad friendly. Kiss my ass. My fucking gay, right? Fuck you, motherfuckers. So let's take one more call and let's take a quick voicemail that we have if we have one.
$50. Damn.
I know, fucking crazy. I mean, let's take a text. Now, Phil, this is from Pete's Live Music. Phil, is it now inevitable that we'll see the Night King riding a zombie Viserion? I think absolutely. Why wouldn't
it not be?
Of course. It's going to be an air.
How could it not be?
So what this does is it doesn't necessarily, I don't know. Maybe after season 1 they decided, fuck that, we don't want to pay to keep making Tyrion's hair white, so we're just gonna ruin that whole plot line.
Well, they
Squash it.
definitely did away with that. Yeah.
Oh, with your
They
hoping
stopped
that
trying.
Tyrion was a Targaryen person?
Yeah.
He is a Targaryen, but not on the show. Apparently, they're not gonna go there again. They're not gonna like.
No.
It's too late for any of that. Like the time for that was like, if you're going, I'm going with you. And Tyrion climb up on one of the fucking dragons too, because he wants to be a hero.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it was, like they set us up for that. They set us up for it, and they leave him on the fucking cliff, running he says it himself like a number of times throughout the series of how much he's ever dreamt of dragons and wanting a dragon on all that shit, and like that's his moment. He even has like they do it a couple times in this. He even talk about him being a hero. No, I don't want you to be a hero. So she goes off to be the fucking hero. And they kind of do it again, and we'll see in the future, but the whole like, who's gonna take over if you die, Danny shit. And then like again they come back to it when she's with Jon on the boat. I can't have children, right?
Just to throw the other side of it, Timo was saying, expect this to be Hardhome. Hardhome was a surprise. Of course, this isn't going to be Hardhome. Isn't going to have that same kind of impact. A couple other,
of course.
Instead of discussing foreshadowing or deeper meaning by using Bran, it's evasive to shut up plot holes of bad writing. Kill the small moving dragon, not the stationary large dragon. Oh, we'll get to that in a second.
Right? Again, yeah.
And here we go. So how let's get into this. Let's fucking get into this episode because there's a lot to talk about here. So let's not waste any time.
Right? No, come on. No, that is whoever wrote that. Like, yes, if I kill the one that everybody's trying to escape on, they can't escape, and the fucking Dragon Queen's stranded, and the fucking North King is stranded, and fucking the world is mine. But no, I'm gonna.
There's still one episode.
Let me range out there and like
show off.
Like what the fuck,
dude.
Dan and Dave, like D&D. Come on now, real talk time. What the fuck, dude?
Real talk time.
What the fuck? Like you've spent the last however many years before these 7 years planning for this series, okay, and studying this source material
that they are without now, and so they are panicking.
And like it really feels like a panic. It feels like what are we gonna do? How are we gonna make this like? It's frustrating to me because it feels like they're dialing it in. It's a dial in. It's we moved on after season 5. We just wanted to make the first 5 books and that's it because we can't really write.
Well, we were hoping the next books would be done.
Oh, right.
Just to argue the other side of it. I mean, I can't say I completely agree with you. I don't think it's just a dial in. The episode didn't click with you.
It's a dial in.
Didn't click with a lot of people. I still think there was a lot to enjoy in this episode, and I had a lot of fun watching it. I mean,
it was fun. Yes,
it was a fun watch, and I mean, it's.
There's no substance. There's no substance, and that's what I'm talking about, Phil.
Can't some things just be for fun to watch?
Right. Okay, great. Some things are just for fun to watch, but it goes further. It goes a little deeper than just this episode having no real substance. Yeah, okay, great. The banter for the Journey Northmen, our troops there, that's just banter, and that takes up a lot of time. There's no real development in these characters there. There's nothing of substance. There's very little of substance in for our Game of Thrones universe. This is 100% just let's give them a fun episode. And to me, it falls flat because the banter is kind of expected. You know their attitudes and their personalities, and we've already been tasting that throughout the season with the Hound and Beric and Thoros.
That's one of the things that annoyed me.
Right, and we've already been tasting it. Like, so yeah, the Jon and Jorah thing was nice, and some of the Jon Dany shit was nice, and I don't know, all of a sudden out of why Tyrion's got this whole like, oh my god, what if you die? Who's going to be next bullshit that came out of nowhere? Like, that seemed kind of just, there's no...
It was random. It was impulsive and emotional.
And then when you get that scene with Dany later, it's like, oh, that's why that was there, because we're going to build it up again. And one of her babies died and she can't have babies. But look, they're both getting the vapors.
Bet there's going to be a miracle baby.
Oh, right. So there's just so much about it.
Auntie nephew baby.
there's so much about it that's completely non-substance of this, that it's not
it falls apart under
Game of
scrutiny.
Thrones. It might be fun, but it's just
Joe, I missed
Flat.
Brennan asked you a question. Joe, you can either risk your life and fight some more zombies, or you can get on a badass dragon with a hot queen and fly to safety. What do you choose?
well, you also want your boys to get out too, right? So
John was protecting, and John also is so intense and so focused on the fight. And that's what I like seeing with John in this situation. He never relents to what he wants to do. Maybe some of the situations he went was unbelievable when it came down to it, but watching him act
maybe
like
not
that
so unbelievable. Phil, let me ask you, what do you think I would do in that situation?
in that situation, you would probably do similar type thing. You would make sure everyone was on the dragon first.
Okay, and I know what you would do.
I'd run like
Get the
hell.
fuck on the dragon.
I'd run like hell and cry and throw the football and hide off the dragon. Of course,
I'm not that. I'm like, honestly, this isn't me trying to toot a horn or anything. I'm not that kind of person. I'm more the like run into the fire to save a cat for no reason.
Well, just instinctively,
You know,
we
like-
have three options.
Right,
It's not. Yeah,
oh, come on. Someone said, I think Timo says we're being negative because it's cool right now. Joe is never negative.
So
right now.
I this is how I feel. Like this is absolutely how I feel. I didn't see anything about this episode. I knew it leaked. The only thing that I saw previous to this was our friend Brett there, a big old dirty bucket Brett there. He's like, watched the show early. All I gotta say is wow, no spoilers. And someone said,
Yeah,
hey
I
man, that
haven't seen
wow
any
is a spoiler.
spoilers or
That's the
anything.
only thing I knew about this episode previous. So
And Joe, also your buddy Gary donated $10 tonight too.
oh wow,
Thank
hey
you,
Gary.
Awesome stuff. Oh, Gonzo, Phil, where is Reek? I know we hopefully we'll see Theon in the next episode. We got a lot of fucking spinning the wheels. I'm gonna take a shot just because I've skipped a couple of wheel spins. Thank you everybody. Before we get into our recap, let's get into this recap. We know this, like I said, this is a polarizing episode. Some people are like this, some people didn't like this, some people are like, I think Katie and I are on there. We had fun with it, but we can definitely pick it apart at some points. Joe's on thinking this is the worst episode of Game of Thrones he's ever seen.
It really is a trash episode, the worst episode that of this season and of this series. It is definitely. I mean, whoever was it, Bill, who said 4.5? 4.5 is pretty good and of a rating. I might give it a little bit less, and I would be hard pressed for anybody to make an argument, even though there may be bad episodes in 2 or 3.
I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to make the argument to you why parts are things are fun.
Parts are fun. I'm going to give you that. I loved that big bitch talk.
Oh, he was cute.
And Timo says clearly they need to dumb down shit with timestamps and monologues to pop to satisfy some people. Daniel says agree with Joe. Dornish Dan $10 donation. Thank you so much. Analysis says harsh. Joe laughing his ass off. The Iron says the great fandom civil war of 7-6. Previews for next week. Nice Dornish. Thank you to everybody. You guys in the super chat tonight are amazing.
Fantastic.
I just have to stop and pause. And even if we don't all agree on the episode, and some people like it, some people don't, different places, it's still a lot of fun to get together and babble and bullshit about the episode. So here we go, everyone. Let's spin the fucking wheel. Motherfuckers, you guys are great. Someone says 3.5 side buttholes. I mean, Arya. We haven't really talked about Arya and Sansa, but we'll get into it. Let's play it. Let's play this song. Recap. Okay, let's get into this. So the whole episode starts, and I actually really like how this episode starts, where we focus on the map of Dragonstone.
I love that table.
And we see the table, and we see it going up towards the land of always winter. I think that's a really cool visual that we get, and then the fade into seeing where we're at. The landscapes were amazing. Wherever they shot this location just looked incredible. They picked an excellent place. I just loved it. Visually, this episode was I thought really fucking beautiful.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't love, Planet Earth nature show where you get to see the tundra, aerial shots of drone shots of that? That's just awesome.
It was fucking
great
beautiful.
Cinematography.
Beautiful. And I like the sound design in this episode too, especially like we'll get to the bear a little bit later, like when the bear came in.
Oh my goodness.
Like that was really horrifying. It was done.
Can't we just bring the bear back?
So we see that our guys, our team aren't alone. We have some other dudes with them that are fodder sort of characters throughout. So right here, we
red
get
shirts.
the red shirt.
All
What?
random
Like,
red
yeah,
shirts.
okay, so like our team goes out, like that first shot that shows them walking across the tundra, I count, and there's 10 of them, and I'm like, okay, so we're definitely getting like at least 6 deaths
People
here.
are dying.
five deaths here.
Yep.
So so then we get a series of interactions. We with all the characters. It's done in a very one after another kind of way. I like the substance of the discussions that we have. Like when we get into each discussion, I think each one is really good and kind of entertaining in its own way. We get one with Gendry at the beginning here. We're
I've seen snow before. Beautiful, eh? I can breathe again.
and this is when we get into Tormund too. I think the MVPs of these teams for the people that I was like most interested in what they were saying was the Hound and Tormund. I thought they both killed it. I like the Jorah and Jon stuff too. And I think Beric and Thoros, I thought everybody on the team really, like the characters and all the acting performances in this episode were spot on too.
Absolutely, Phil.
I can't say anything fucking bad about the acting. Even when we get to Arya and Sansa, I think both of them killed it in this episode in their scene too for the material that they were working with.
I got to say you're right about that, and one of the reasons for that and for like this, the back and forths between the Hound and Tormund and Gendry, it's because there was minimal involvement with our leads who are involved in every fucking scene.
Yes.
Right? Like if you're talking about people in the north, John's in one of those. If like there's a wildling on scene, John's there. If they're, and he's there in these scenes too. And like, especially the Gendry talking with Tormund there, like John's in the middle of them, but like there's still more interaction between our secondary characters without the involvement of our main characters. And that's something we don't get often in Game of Thrones. So it's kind of special and it makes that interaction good. And it was written well, the banter.
Yeah,
the banter is definitely in the character.
The transitions between the banter could have been smoother and a little bit more natural feeling, whatever. But whatever. Like I thought that all worked really well, and that was ultimately, I think one of my favorite parts of the episode were all the interactions with the team walking north. I definitely like those, especially the stuff with where we get later with Jorah and Thoros about the Pike battle, and John and Beric was a little cheesy at times, but I like Gendry and the Brotherhood, that whole thing that we got.
The whinging shit.
Yeah.
The Hound,
like stop being a little bitch. We've all killed each other here a couple times. Get over it, boy.
Stop that.
You got a naked priestess leech your dick. Like, what are you complaining about?
Sexual assault, dude. With other species.
He was fine with it until the leeches came out.
Yeah. I mean, and then he said no.
He said, it's good to be the king's bastard.
And then he said no. And she should have stopped. No?
Yes.
Never.
Yeah. Katie, don't people realize that when a guy says no, it means yes?
No, it can't work that way.
It always means yes, Katie. It's always
no, it does not work that way. You are right.
It doesn't work that way. It
yes,
cannot work that way.
Yes, it's always yes.
Things get way too rapey when we try to work it that way.
Yeah, whenever we talk about this,
too rapey.
Yeah, things get
Ishkabibble means no. Katie, you know this.
Oh, no.
Ishkabibble, no. No. Yes.
No. Way too confusing. Way too confusing.
So we get a series of interactions, like I said, and Gendry had never seen the North before. Tormund had never really been South before. Walking, fucking, fighting in the cold is the best. Tormund is great. I love this actor. Hilarious. He kills in this role, and he owns every single scene he's in. So then we
need to bundle up. Oh my!
I know,
goodness,
like it's freezing out. And they're like,
to see our characters.
Tormund, I understand.
Sure.
Tormund's been sweating his balls off at the wall.
Like, dude, you put your hoods up.
He can finally breathe again. No, Tormund is the only one.
Their Arctic equivalent. If
everybody else, John, he's part dragon, so yeah, he runs a little hot. Okay, but everybody else, man, like, are you serious, dude? the Hound especially.
Their ears
Man.
are gone. Gone.
He's from the
his other
South. He
ear.
is the South. You know, like.
And
Come on.
Bundle up, guys.
and then Tormund and John step away, and they talk about how dumb Gendry is, which is a kind of a funny moment. And John says, Davos said, I'm no big city lawyer, but
We all dumb.
but this kid can really fight, and he can hold his own. So, and Tormund says that's good because only dumb people would come here looking for the dead. Now he talks to her about Dany, about the Dragon Queen. John won't bend the knee, and Tormund talks about how he spent too much time with the free folk. And I also really fucking love this, how Mance would not bend the knee, and how many people died for Mance's pride. And he also gave him a little bit, you want to fuck the Dragon Queen eyes. But I thought this was a really good moment too. I like when they bring up people like Stannis gets brought up here and there by Davos, and in the situation, this Mance situation where Mance could have saved his people, and it's interesting to hear it from Tormund's perspective as one of the free folks, how they look at that decision that Mance made, and that's what I liked about this episode. Those little things were littered in. You had to find the nuggets of good, but the good was there. The bad came in some of the action-y stuff, but whatever. You can always rip apart action-y stuff. But this stuff I thought was well done.
Interact with it all. It's yes, the banter itself and that we get the interaction is good, but I can't ignore how we get there, what they're doing, what it is like. All of it combines to be bad with a shining like, okay, so I'm not going to turn it off because at least I'm getting at least one little thing out of this that I don't get normally.
There are little tidbits.
So there are like, there are the fun little tidbits in this episode, but ultimately it's wrapped up in badness. Like it keeps getting into the bad. Like let's wading through it.
I still feel like there's no reason for the Hound to be there.
He is Azor Ahai.
Unless he ends up being he's completely randomly.
To eat some candy and be happy because the Hound fucking kills it with lines like.
Well, they even pull out the kissed by fire line and then equate it also to the ginger thing, which is all to that Azor Ahai prophecy, which has still yet to like.
Bloody Talker says John would be
disappointment, and so he shouldn't be there.
John would be the bastard equivalent of a Targaryen. He's half Stark. Tormund has a fucking dragon glass axe. That would be amazing. Hound and Tormund. I smell a bromance coming on. So the Brotherhood is a funny fucking comedy team. I love when they're talking to Gendry and the Hound. The Hound's like completes them as like the three-way comedy team, and the Hound just kill it. And Katie, I what you're saying notwithstanding, whatever the reasons he's here, whether he should be there, every scene he's in, he's another one. He just kills it. He kills dialogue. I could hear him say "cunt" for fucking 2 hours on and laugh every single fucking time. The
mouth is moving and it's complaining, therefore you're whinging.
Yeah, you're whinging. Yeah, you're whinging. No, I'm not whinging. No, you're fucking whinging. Shut up. You're whinging. It's like us right now. It's like, no, stop it, guys. You're whinging. No,
we are whinging hardcore.
Yeah, we're whinging hardcore tonight. This is not for the fan of heart. So the Brotherhood comedy hour, I thought was really funny. So the characters are cool. I said funny interactions, definitely good comedy team. So then we get Jon and Jorah, which we get into something a little bit more important, so to speak.
Yeah, I enjoyed this.
Were you with them at the end?
I was a prisoner of the wildlings, but we avenged them. I want you to know that every mutineer found justice.
Can't think of a worse way for him to go. The Night's Watch was his life. He would have died to protect every one of those men. But they butchered him.
I hate that he died that way. My father was the most honorable man I...
Yeah, and then we get into Ned and how much Jorah hated Ned, which is kind of funny back and forth there. Yeah. And ultimately it comes down to Jon offering him back the sword, and Jorah refuses. And he says, I want you to have it, and then I want you and your dragon baby kids to have that, and I want that to be in your family forever. And I thought this was a really heartfelt moment. I love this is another little thing I really liked about this episode, Joe. seeing Jorah finally interact with Westerosi characters. So long we've seen him separate from the story, and then after he left Dany, and even when Dany's come over to Westeros, he was on his own, or he was with Sam, and he had grayscale, and which I come to find out might have had to do with the actor wanting to shoot some other movie, so they gave him grayscale so he had less to do or something. Thought I read or heard that somewhere, but so it's cool to see him interact with characters like the Hound and Beric and Thoros, people that know him from his former life. Yeah, I think it adds a lot of depth to a character like Jorah.
Agreed. Yep. Yes.
So and I fucking and again I love the fucking Hound, and he can they can bring him back. They can have a wizard bring his ass back from Lazarus chamber and have Ra's al Ghul say, "Congratulations, I'm taking your body," and I'm okay with it. Just put the on the television show. Keep the Hound on the screen so I can see him in the face off against his brother. We see his brother again. So let's get to.
I hope so.
It seems like it might happen if he goes with Jon to in the next episode to see the situation. We might get an interaction between the two characters.
He'll need bodyguards.
Or the Hound's gonna want to stick around with Jon and with that like he having seen that, he's not fucking around anymore. He wants to kill those fucking dead motherfuckers.
Seeing it's Jon, it's the thing you kind of have to see it. You kind of have to see it.
I know I lost a kid, but
you're using the wrong words, Jon. Jon, when you came down here, you used all the wrong fucking words. Yeah. You didn't quite give me scale of it. You didn't quite sell it. Maybe screaming and yelling like a lunatic. That might have the dad.
I want to see the Hound's face when he sees his brother as another one of these fucking dead.
Oh yeah.
And
juicy.
So this is another thing in this episode I really liked, the transition in the sound design. They transitioned from this scene with Jon and Jorah with the music very, very well done into Arya and Sansa in Ned's spot as Arya tells, okay, we're gonna get into this. This is gonna be an interesting topic to get into Arya and Sansa, because I honestly don't know where to start in this situation. It's like one of those situations where they're both wrong and they both have fucking problems, and where the fuck is Bran and all this? And but I'm hoping that there's moments in this where it's a hint to them kind of figuring it out, and they're one conversation away from figuring it out.
So it's irksome.
And that is what that's what I'm hoping to, Phil. And that will
let's talk about it from a wider standpoint. Do you think that, and then I'll get into the recap of the actual scene. Do you think that Arya at the end with the knife thing was testing her to watch her to see if she was lying and all that sort of stuff? And maybe after that goes, whoa, Sansa, I should fucking believe Sansa. She's just an annoying brat, but she's not going to betray my family or something like that. Or do you think Arya really was ever going to kill her and take her face? I think she was putting her on tilt. And a lot of true Sansa came out tonight. And I think the most annoying Sansa is in this episode is with Brienne. Sansa treats the help like shit.
Yep.
She treats the help, and that's a consistent character trait. Everything Arya says about Sansa is true, and everything that Sansa's kind of saying to Arya in some ways is true too. They're both wrong and they're both right. That's why it's a fucked up situation that's tough to talk. And
what is Sansa really saying to Arya? Sansa's not saying anything to Arya. Sansa's snooping through a room and then just being like, "Why do you have faces? Why do you have Halloween masks in your bag? Why?" No, I have questions for you. No, answer me first. I want to know now.
Come on, Arya was being pretty stupid tonight too. Johnny!
They were both being stupid, yes. However, I am just hoping that they are that one conversation away, Phil. I am hoping that maybe I'm not seeing it right, and Arya is just kind of still playing with Baelish a little bit too, kind of playing the role to see what he wants, maybe. Maybe Bran finally does come out, maybe it is got to be one, like you said, one of those things they got to figure out for themselves, and Bran's just waiting for them to do it rather than being like, yo, bitches, stop fighting with each other and go kill this motherfucker. And
Or
someone says in the chat, it is going to be Sansa that puts that knife through Littlefinger's.
I hope so. I really hope. I would love, as much as I'm Sansa is not my favorite character, and I think a lot of her worst traits come out in this episode. And Arya putting her on point when she's
in that on purpose in this episode, so that conversation becomes more important and special for us.
She had to have at one point in time. She's not, and I know there are people in the live chat right now saying no, she is this dumb. She's not so dumb. Like when Littlefinger's doing that thing. Let's get to this because I got to talk about it. When Littlefinger's doing his Littlefinger shit, if she's stupid enough to believe everything that Littlefinger's saying, she deserves to have Arya stab her, take her fucking face, and be a better Sansa than she ever fucking could be. She knows who Littlefinger is. She needs to get smart quick. Like, shut the fuck up. And saying things like Arya couldn't go through, but through what she went. You don't know what Arya is. Arya wasn't on a fucking vacation trip. Fucking gone through the shit Arya went through. And I mean, Arya gives her a lot of crap, but it goes back and forth. Like I said, they're both assholes. So Arya and Sansa are in Ned's spot. She tells a story to Sansa about Ned attacking, or ultimately it all leads up to, it's a good monologue, but it's Arya saying that you're to blame, you were partially to blame for Ned dying. And she brings out that letter that she was forced to write in season 1 that
even if you weren't partially to blame, you were still wrong in your actions.
Yes. And I was a kid too, and I never would have done that. I would have died. You took Joffrey's side.
But you didn't charge the stage and try to do anything. No, I didn't. But she tried. Do you remember? She tried.
She did try. Arya did try. And what's his name? Euron? What was his name?
It was
the Night's Watch guy that hung out. I think his name's not Euron. So something. Film in the
Yorn. Just Yorn, I think.
I don't know.
Sansa has the dagger now, so maybe it is. I hate Sansa more than Laurie, says Timo. I hate Sansa more than Eleanor Guthrie. I hate Sansa. I hate Sansa more than Aslog. I hate Sansa more than Tara and SOA. Sansa would have got raped at Harrenhal. Sansa never would have made it out of Forced. You're right. I was a kid. I was a kid. Excuses getting old. Okay, she was forced to write that letter, but she wasn't forced to take Joffrey's side or plead ignorance with the situation with the wolf, which is ultimately what got her wolf killed. So
she was punished for her bad decision.
With the Joffrey situation,
and then after that became
the Ramsay situation, whatever it's worth. The Ramsay situation, for whatever it's worth, I do not condone what happened to her, but that was her decision. She decided to put herself in that situation. Everything that happened to her in the Joffrey situation, which getting roughed up, being forced to all that mental horror that Joffrey put her through, which is fucking horrible. Sansa went through some horrible shit. That's why when she says that she don't know what I went through, Arya doesn't realize that Sansa does have her wounds, does have her warts that she went through. But Sansa's just not good at talking to people. She's not good at communicating. She's bad. And Arya is also a fish out of water and has trouble right now communicating with other people because she's been trained to be an assassin for so long. So they're both fucking wrong and they're both fucking right. So Sansa went through horrible shit. There's no doubt about that. But an asshole can go through horrible shit too. And she still has asshole-like tendencies. And Arya is a little bit of a murdering psychopath that wants to murder and be too much of a psychopath.
I don't think she's a murdering psychopath.
You think she's a calculating?
If she's not, she's certainly playing that part in this episode.
Oh, yes, a little bit. She's trying to make her sister feel like she is that much of cold-blooded killer,
and she kind of is.
And
doesn't mean that's all she is, but she kind of is.
I think with the revenge aspect, it's not cold-blooded killering.
Okay.
I got my list. I don't want to kill like all 5 Lannister soldiers that are feeding me fucking pudding right now.
Well,
But
cold-blooded doesn't mean you don't have your reasons.
That's some
But they're
good pudding. That is some good.
It just means you're able to kill without
she's
feeling bad.
justified.
essentially. That again.
That is some good pudding. Johnny Guerrero says, where's my Theon, Joe? The live motherfucking chat. Oh, it's Phil Drink. The last person on the wheel got Phil Drink. Oh, thank you so much tonight for your amazing super chat donations. You guys have been incredible tonight. And everyone in the live chat, you guys are amazing too. Love being able to talk to you. We have one more.
I don't know, Phil. I don't know. I think that MFC could come up with some more donations.
It's gonna get me drunk. It's gonna get me fucking drunk. So
keep that wheel spinning.
Yeah, fuck you, motherfucker, because you're not drinking tonight. You get your pick, Johnny. Anything on the wheel you want. If you want me to take a drink or a sandwich bite or
take a drink.
Arya has actually been there with her when her mother and brother were killed. She was like almost there. Thank you, Quixote. While Sansa was dreaming of Sir Loras, dreaming of the Iron Fist. The Lannisters would have abused Sansa more if she went ahead and wrote that letter and didn't write that letter.
Yes.
Arya and Sansa are baiting Littlefinger into taking action on Arya. We can only hope, Bloody Talker. Madcap says, Timo, it doesn't make it right, but show Sansa's disconnected with people. Arya is a child soldier. Admit it. Fuck sobers, Joe, says Tom himself.
I agree, Tom. I agree.
CJ says a sandwich bite. Arya enjoys anyone acting in a discourteous manner to her, as she can use it as a justification for killing. And so is Arya. Fuck Littlefinger. Sansa's got the knife now. I've got the knife. Grumpy old man says Arya's going to show up and peace talk and kill Cersei. Retired nurse says Sansa trained to be a lady like Arya trained to be assassin. Very different places they came from. I do think Sansa has learned some cunning. Booney says Sansa's completely worthless. On the other side of that, Teef says,
sorry, retired nurse. I'm with Booney.
Teef says, why are people comparing abuse? Abuse is abuse either way, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Wolf says, excellent point. Wolf Gaming says Sansa was so pissed and thought her life was over when she had to marry her words, the imp, when it would have been the best husband she ever could have happened. By the way, Sansa tried to save Ned.
They never got divorced.
But the marriage was never officially consummated.
And it's never officially been annulled.
But it's never consummated, and when she marries Ramsay, that is consummated, so that takes precedence. So in Westerosian marriage law, because the consummation is actually a really big deal. Wolf says
she cheated on Tyrion.
She did cheat on Tyrion. Wolf
he was just giving her time.
Does anyone else not really care if Sansa loses her face or not? Arya's a psychopath now. She no longer even aware of people's intentions. Arya hands Sansa the dagger. Her eyes said, "Kill yourself now." We are being led to believe that Littlefinger, but in fact, Arya is meeting with Sansa in the crypts and manipulating Littlefinger. Joe is right again. Phil is right again. Or I don't know if that is Joe. Phil is right again. Or we'll say Joe is right again. He likes to hear that.
No, he likes to hear that. Yeah.
It's you're right, but I'm not sure about what.
We'll say I'm right. I can be right about one thing.
Sure.
So let's continue.
You're right about lots of stuff, lots of times, Phil.
When
I'm not sure to what Madcap is alluding.
Circumstance.
So let's continue here. So they just go back and forth, and Arya talks about they talk about how they're there, and then Sansa's like, you should smell my farts, because while you were training, I was making people smell my farts. Jon didn't do shit. This is when okay, I get that you're mad and you say things that you don't mean. Sansa holds this facade and tries to not say what she's thinking all the time. But then when this shit comes out, like her real sort of angry thoughts of Jon didn't do shit. The only reason that they won the Battle of the Bastards is because of me.
Yep, okay, right there. That was so.
You really helped Sansa. You helped Littlefinger, bailed them out at the end. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, Jon didn't fight that battle the smartest, but I'm pretty sure Jon did something in that battle.
I'm pretty sure she cost Jon that battle by not saying, hey, you know what? I have this letter here from this guy Littlefinger who says he's got 40,000 troops that can help us.
Maybe
we should talk to him.
And that's what we're talking about.
She won that battle. She got Winterfell back by not contributing the information that would have saved countless fucking lives of Jon's soldiers and wildlings and other people and Lyanna's men or whoever, like one's life maybe. No, like she cost lots and lots of fucking people their lives by not sharing that information and riding in the end on the white horses, so to speak. No, that was a failed fucking decision on her part and not worthy of boasting at this moment in time. And in fact, the way she boasts it makes her look like a fucking douchebag on top of it. It's because of me and my cunning and battle prowess that you're sitting in Winterfell right now.
Poopy.
Really? It's not because of Brianna Tarth, who saved your fucking life and killed the men about to kill you and fucking Theon and drag your ass back to Ramsay?
And I don't want to take that. Definitely helped, but it's a lot of people working together in that situation. Her selfish nature did come out to be important. I think everyone has that in them, but Sansa has it a little bit more than some other people. So Mark says, so now we know that what happened to Ghost. Dany was wearing him. The white coat is Tyrion trying to get Dany to name his successor for the throne, or am I just reading too much into that? What is Tyrion trying to get Dany to name him successor for the throne, or am I reading too much into that? Joe, what do you think of that question from Mark? And I'm going to spin the wheel for Mark too. Do you think that Tyrion was hinting make him the next line successor?
No, I just think I don't think Tyrion even had like a plan for that at all. Like, and it seemed so odd that the conversation even went that way in the first place, and it seemed like a vehicle to fuel the further conversation later in the episode about when she kind of says, they're again to Jon, they're my children, and like it's very suggestive, that whole exchange between them and the longing looks between them, and it just kind of played back to that converation that Tyrion had about they're probably going to copulate and have a kid.
Analysis might be, but he said, guys, you're misunderstanding what she said. She didn't say she won the battle. You guys are hearing what you want to say. It was something to
Agreed.
that. I'm paraphrasing. Do we have to go to the tape?
Go to the tape.
Do we have to go to the tape and hear?
No, she didn't say she won the battle. She said, you're sitting in Winterfell because of me. Jon lost the battle, and then I came in with 40,000 troops from here and took back Winterfell and beat Ramsay Bolton.
Never would have survived what I survived.
Here we go.
I guess we'll never know.
I mean, technically, that is what happened.
Yes, it is.
Septim Mordain used to crack my knuckles because I couldn't write as well as you.
You seem absolutely certain that
I write to you today with heavy heart. Our good King Robert is dead.
none of the other shit that
Killed from wounds he took in a boar.
None of the other shit was, I have 40,000 troops sitting in the wind, possibly.
Sure.
When all they kept talking about is, where are we going to get men? Where are we going to get men? Where are we going to get men? We have no men. Ramsay has outnumbered us. We're so outnumbered, 4-1.
Brought up extremely
analysis says she said the Knights of the Vale won the battle because of and they won because of me.
Drawn into the position he was in, facing off with Ramsay's army by himself, and all those men getting killed.
Yeah, 40,000 troops would have helped.
Stop lot. Sansa is Jan from the Brady Bunch. Let's let Katie talk, says Teef. Let Katie talk. Katie, tell Joe why he's wrong again. Let's let everyone hear why you think Joe's wrong.
I don't necessarily think he's wrong.
Yes, she does.
No, all set. Thanks.
Okay.
Let's move on.
No.
Yeah, no, honey. All set. Thanks.
So
thanks a lot, chat.
Yeah, not his fault, honey bear.
Maybe Arya and Sansa just need to hug, not with each other, but just mainly man hugs. They need to. We got a Joe's always wrong. Sansa was Hannibal. She used Jon as bait, says K Rich, for $2 super chat donation. Awesome stuff, K Rich. Thank you so much for the super chat. Rich, I love you. I bet the ice dragon is going to be used as a zombie, playing about 100 zombies riding that dragon. He's probably beating off in that moon door all day. Joe, everyone's laughing at Joe. So great. K-Rich gives, Joe. Joe needs to talk with his hand. Make your hand a puppet for 5 minutes. No, it's the Joe rant one. So K-Rich, you can give Joe a subject to rant about, or get him to talk positively about something. Make him talk positively about Sansa or something like that. That'd be great. So Sansa and Arya just need to share a sandwich. Someone said if Jon would know about 40,000 troops right before the battle, Jon could have waited to deploy his troops. And Matt says the Knights of the Vale would have started the battle. Field and Ramsey probably would have holed up in Winterfell, making it harder to win the battle. So people coming from all sides of the discussion. Timo with $10 donation. Sansa did not win Winterfell. Littlefinger approached her and wasn't even thinking of the Vale until Littlefinger came. They only came because of Littlefinger's ambitions, nothing more. Sansa didn't do shit. Sansa ain't shit. Fuck Sansa. Phil, what is Joe gonna pull? A Jericho from Oz? John tucked up, killed him as much as her. We all need to share a sandwich. So let's go over. Let's see if we have. We got someone that's been on hold for a little bit. I think this is Antoine. So let's go to Antoine's call and see what Antoine has to say. And welcome to the show, Antoine. How's it going, buddy? I think Antoine might have put us on hold. Antoine, definitely call back, and I'll get you right back on. We got Timo gets a spin of the fucking wheel, and we also had Johnny with another $2 donation. You guys are amazing tonight, and the support you guys give. Timo, huge hug to you. And Timo gets an everyone drink. Everyone fucking drink. So whatever you're drinking tonight, hold it up and take a toast to Timo.
Space Queen, you're gonna be waiting a long time.
And Johnny, spin Johnny, motherfucker.
A long time, Space Queen.
So our next scene is a really fun scene that we get with Tormund and the Hound. It's kind of a played for comedy scene, but I really do love it. Let's listen to this.
You're the one they call the dog. Fuck off.
Hey, dog.
They told me you were mean. Were you born mean, or you just said wildlings?
I don't give two shits about wildlings. Gingers I hate.
Gingers are beautiful. We are kissed by fire.
Hint, hint.
Just like you.
Don't point your fucking finger at me.
And I'm sorry, it continues. It continues.
We're a baby.
I didn't trip, I was pushed.
Ever since you've been mean.
Will you fuck off?
I don't think you're truly mean. You have sad eyes.
He does have sad eyes.
Aww.
Yes.
He totally
Little puppy dog eyes.
Dick. I like it.
It's because of me. I have a beauty waiting for me back in Winterfell.
This is
Oh
awesome.
God, I love
Back
this.
then.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yellow hair, blue eyes, tallest woman you've ever seen. Almost as tall as you.
Brianna fucking Toth.
Wait.
Brianna
Look,
Toth.
yeah, wait. Are you talking about? Wait.
You're with Brianna fucking Toth.
Fuck you.
Well, not with her yet. But I see the way she looks at me.
She looks at you.
Have you,
Oh.
Tormund? Have you seen the way she looks at
You know her then. You know her, huh?
I don't think.
Klingon women, dude. She's not a Klingon woman. She's not like, look at you, want to beat you up.
She's close enough to it. She still wants to be touched like a woman.
Yeah, she's a bit. Tormund's just.
But not by Tormund.
Tormund is fucking beautiful. It's just so perfect, and him and the Hound are a great pair. I don't
He's a
care.
softie. He is an absolute crush right now.
He's great.
He wants to make great big baby bears.
We always talk. A lot of people like to go the other way. He's another example of one of those characters that reading him is not as good as watching him. Watching the actor puts into him.
Well,
amazing.
didn't
It's
they
hilarious.
combined a couple of characters?
I don't give a
for
shit.
him.
I'm like whatever. I don't give a fuck. All I'm saying is he's one of my favorite characters on the show, and in the books I don't even think about him too much.
Right.
The actor
Because he-
plays it
He
amazingly.
like basically the books end before he really becomes like a big part of anything. And
He's
like,
just-
who knows?
he's
He
just
might not
awesome.
even make
He's
it.
he's
through.
incredible. He's incredible in everything he does. We saw that we had a 215 area code. If you want to call back in 215. Timo says, "Oh my God, Tormund is amazing. What's that bear Tormund defiled? Oh, we'll see. He came back for more.
That's the bear.
That is the bear. Yeah.
Yeah, the bear came back for him.
Talking about Brienne and was like, bitch, you're
You're
my
mine."
man. You left me up here to rot like this, and now you're talking about some other chick.
A younger,
Not
hotter
okay.
chick.
Tormund is locked
Not
in
okay.
Timo's basement and getting her deals on hotel rooms. Analysis says Robert Aaron, sons of my cousin, should help her in the battle. She's my cousin. I wish there was more deaths beyond the wall. I agree, Matthew. That's probably one. Aside from whinging and our whinging points that we're going to get into here and there. My biggest issue is that all the people that got killed. Let's wait till we get to that point. But that all the people that got killed basically were red shirts in some situations.
Oh my god!
Many
except for Thoros getting, and not that I want main characters.
No, right. Everybody else who dies.
That's
right?
not the way. Honestly, that didn't bother me. That didn't bother me too much. There's one.
He was half eaten by a fucking bear.
I know, but I'm saying there's that, even that stuff, it's whatever. It's action movie.
This burned sword will get you to live 12 hours
longer. There was one thing that bothered me, and we'll get, and I'll definitely get to that. One out of everything that there was, there was a lot of shit to fucking complain about, but only one of them bothered me.
Pick your battle kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Pick your battle.
Why pick it? You could battle it all.
No, I'm not. I'm when it comes down to it, I'm forgiving of certain things if I like character. When it comes down to it, story and writing and stuff, when my interest, it's on my scale, it's characters there, stories there, and if I like the characters, it can carry me through to enjoy a show. And I forgive a lot more rather than the other way around. If the acting and the characters are off and the story's awesome, cannot fucking give a shit about what's happening. So I create reasons to care about characters, even with shitty story points here and there.
Right, but this isn't just shitty story point. This is tropathon fucking 2017.
You say potato, I say potato.
So the apocalyptic
it's fucking
lead up.
Bullshit. It's like okay, great. I understand. I understand you like the character stuff, and I do too. And that can get me only so far. I need more substance than just this banter. All these tropes that.
So do I, but it's one episode, Joe. That's it. It's one episode.
It's not one episode.
It's one episode. I liked that. It's the only episode this season I haven't liked.
Yeah, but
it's the only episode.
It's not. I'm telling you why it's not one episode. It's the other 3 fucking episodes they stole from you this season, Phil.
That's a different point altogether.
It isn't a different point altogether because you can make the story better. You can extend the story. Give us real reasons to be north of the wall instead of being like, here's your fucking part, your rage party, and we're beyond the fucking wall.
No, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm not gonna not enjoy watching it.
Points.
I'm not gonna shut off my enjoyment of it. So
right. I'm not saying to shut off your enjoyment of it. I'm saying to feel like you're not just being ripped off, that you're being.
I don't feel ripped off. I don't feel ripped off. I feel like this wasn't the best episode, but I don't feel ripped off.
You're being patronizing. You should be.
I'm not. I'm being honest. You can be honest. I can be honest. I have a different opinion than you.
I know, but I see the whole place as all of us being are completely being patronized by this whole entire thing. We're going to take away 3 episodes from you so we can rush into all this shit.
It has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, though.
It has everything to do with it. It has everything to do with how we get to this point. But by the fact that they make the decision that they're not going to give us the other 3 episodes, they're not going to give us a full season, that they're going to rush into all these things.
It's a fact of life. It's a fact of life. We have to make do with what we have and enjoy it as much as we can.
It's at this point, it's kind of the unspoken criticism.
It is. The words of Bill Belichick, Joe. It is what it is.
When life gives you a shit sandwich, it's best to what? Hunker down and get eating? No, it's best to throw the fucking sandwich to the person that fucking gave it to you. Say, I don't want to eat a shit fucking sandwich. Make it again.
It's not going to happen. Let's go to the phone call.
Put some lettuce on that fucking thing. At least eat some corn before you get making it. You're like, God damn it.
Let's go to the phone calls. Area code 215. What do you got to say? Area code 215.
Hey, what's up, fellas? How are you?
Hey, how's it going, dude?
Here's my thing. If I see a cousin that I haven't seen in 9 months, I ask him everything he's been up to. But these Stark kids haven't seen each other in 4 years, and they never sat down and were like, did anybody die or get raped or turn into an assassin? They never sat down.
No.
Yeah, they did. Brent dropped it all
right now.
It was like you were beautiful when you were getting raped.
And figured out. like that everybody's a fucking nut job right now. Arya's trying to kill Sansa. Like, you never sat down and were just like,
Yeah, so yeah.
you seem like you went through some bad shit.
Yeah. No.
I learned how to be an
Brad's
assassin.
just off dropping acid at the fucking tree.
Here's this. Yeah, but yeah.
With the terrified maester watching him.
I hate to be the guy that's like, oh, I read the books, but this episode just ruined it for me.
Yeah.
Where now
I
that guy, where I'm like, the show's all right, but I read the book. I'm that nerd now.
No, I mean, and very fair point. Awesome call, buddy. The way I think about it is, one thing does not interfere with the other. My enjoyment from the books and my enjoyment for the show are different. I judge the show based compared to other television shows, not necessarily based on the books, just because it's a different medium and it's hard to just connect two different mediums. I judge it on other great television shows, the Breaking Bads, the Sopranos, the Romes, the Wires, the whatever, and again, this wasn't my favorite episode. It's probably my least favorite episode of the season, but I think crying, the sky is falling, Chicken Little sort of thing is a little too much. It's a little too much. It's not the best second to last episode of the season. And I agree with you, Joe, what you're saying. Essentially, I don't like the pacing. I think the biggest problem that we have this whole season is pacing, and that does have to do with the 7 episodes. But that doesn't mean that I think this I would go as far to say that I think this was shit, as far as you're putting it. But again, it's awesome that you think this, and it's awesome and
passionately too.
Yeah, passionate. I love it, dude. I fucking love it. So speaking of passion, let's get to area code 757 and talk to our buddy Antoine.
First of all, I got 2 things that I want to say.
Do it, Antoine.
And I'm going to hang it up for tonight. But here's the thing. One, I'm pissed off that one of the Daenerys dragons went down to a effing Night King. And 2, Sansa ruined the moment by going to a...
Oh no!
Oh no, you got cut off in your second point. But I know that a lot of people like the fact that you said Sansa ruined something.
Yeah, they're happy with it there. They're happy with it there.
You
Great point. Point number 2, bravo.
Oh, awesome. Kyle sends his regards. Lots of love to Kyle Azora Hype, who was on a feedback show a couple weeks ago. One of the best dudes out there, so definitely check him out. And on this week's feedback show, I will be joined by a very special guest, Tony Teflon. Last week, I was joined by King McKay as well, too. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely check out all of our feedback shows this year. We were joined by lots of awesome other channels from Game of Thrones creators, and we'll try to keep that sort of thing up during the off season and keep the Game of Thrones content going even in the off season, talking about it, no matter how long it is. As it was just announced today that season 8 isn't going to be starting filming until October. So it's going to be
October of what, 2018?
Yeah, this coming October, October 2017, which means it probably
won't be out until April 19.
Yep.
Or April 18, probably.
No, not April 18. That's 5 months after October.
It's going to be a while. I don't want to think about that right now. We'll talk.
It won't be until 19. We're not getting it until April 19, spring 19. That's it. That seals it.
We'll talk about that more on our final show there. Great to see. Oh, we see so many people coming in from Kyle. A lot of people. So Kyle sends his regards. Thank you so much to everyone popping on in here from Kyle sending you our way. How obnoxious you guys are.
Read Ryan Lash's comment there.
What is Ryan Lash? You read it.
He says, I don't know where it went.
Oh, I got it. The show has set a standard for itself, and it should be judged by that standard. It was the worst episode of the series. Of course, you wanted to fucking say that. So, you're fucking amazing. So you guys are incredible. Thank you so much. It's 2018 because we all know Joe is wrong. Well, everyone hates the show now, so no, why does it matter how long we got to wait? Why, like, Timo, criticism doesn't necessarily mean someone hates the show.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I understand that you're getting sort of probably post-traumatic stress because you think everyone's complaining. But I mean, I don't think Joe hates the show because of these things. He wants better things, but he'd be lying if he didn't point out the shit.
Listen,
He sees the show's
I am
potential
not-
and it's just not living up to it for whatever
I'm not
reason.
a yes man. I am not. If anything, I am not a yes man. So when D&D come to me and they ask me my opinion about this product that they've put out, I have to tell them the truth. I can't blow smoke up their ass if I want them to continue to make good stuff.
And no means no.
Oh no, she's in a ranty mode today. No, and I don't mind the ranty calling us out on negativity, but saying that we're being negative because of trend or doing anything because of trend, that's fucking the most ridiculous thing I've heard about us.
And maybe it is trend because it is that fucking bad.
No, it's because I'm wearing the man bun tonight.
You wore that in honor of Thoros' death.
I did. I said Quixote, but no, come on. When it comes down to we don't give a fuck about that sort of stuff. We're unaware of that sort of stuff when it really comes down to it. Yeah, especially
what is cool nowadays?
What's cool right now? We're so old and out of touch. We're not even close to cool. So we don't blame the man bun. Don't fucking blame
it a little, but not completely.
There you go. How's that for your man bun?
No, exactly, Carmine. It's the Thoros man bun for tonight. Joe's honoring it. Now we have the this is in honor of I've heard nothing but about American Gods from Joe. What the fuck? I want to hear
Good show.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. Let's not get sidetracked.
A fun show.
Phil's man bun is the source of power from Emperor Palpatine. That's why it's depressing.
Wow.
Joe's that looks savage as fuck. Hey, how's it going, guys? How's it going, Carmine? Lots of hugs and kisses.
It's like a second head sitting on top of my head.
Welcome, Max Power. But yeah, and here though, like I'm trying to fight the good fight, Timo. So we get this really awesome scene between Tormund and the dog here. Joe's a talker, doesn't look like anything to me. Says,
I forgot about that part.
Yeah, you fucking talker. And very Dothraki. Love the man bun. Oh yeah, you too, Joe. Phil looks like Natalie Portman right now. Man bun power. Timo will remain sarcastic as long as anyone remains negative. I always thought that I'd hope Rhaegal would swoop down and save Jon, but all hopes of anything died at the end of the episode. Throw an ice javelin at that like button, says Claudio. We got Kyle in the live chat too.
Throw an ice javelin at that. Yes.
Do it.
That's the MFC chat quote of the night.
Man bites. Man bites. Man bites is what Joe and I do to each other when we're alone.
I'm more of a bear bite. A dead bear bite. An undead bear bite. Undead bear bite.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yes. Which is totally curable by one flaming sword's thrust. Just got to cauterize that bear bite and you're all set. You can walk another 4 miles.
It's free. They're in Arctic conditions.
Yeah.
Too, so the bleeding could be slowed by the cold and then it's cauterized. And so he's good.
Yeah. No, that bear broke like 6 ribs when it bit him. It tossed him. He was There's been no better man bear fight than Leo's bear fight. That was fantastic.
Really a surprise, but it was very good. Good movie.
So that bear. So it's confirmed that Longclaw originally had a bear pummel. I don't remember that being.
It did.
Yes.
I did buy a Longclaw replica with a bear pummel, emerald eyes though. Says Carmine. Joe tells it like it is. Too bad someone can't take the truth. Says Madcaps. Episode says Arrow. We got there. I need to watch Fear the Walking Dead now to get the stench of the episode out of my mouth. Says
Jorah must have taken some dragon glass. That must have been like a dragon glass dagger. Why didn't they all have dragon? We're leaving Dragonstone, but let's go north with no dragon glass. Yes, sounds wonderful.
The only thing that
fucking what? What?
Guillermo
said they all have dragon glass shit. Why weren't they like as they were walking like chit-chat, like it should be like chiming on their bodies, like they should be wearing dragon
not chainmail,
dragon mail. Like what the fuck? Like they should have like dragon glass Chinese stars and shit. Come on, like.
Guillermo says, Phil, this is your worst show, but shame on you, Joe. This is your worst show ever. Shame on you for thinking you can do better, Joe.
I can do better. I can do better.
Look, Joe, I have to side with you on that point. Fucking hell. Says they do have Dragon Glass. I thought they did have a couple. There's Dragon Glass everywhere. Have a good night, Mark. Thank you.
Apparently, Jorah must have, because that one stab to the bear put it down. But like, the hammer wasn't made of dragon glass. The swords.
No, there was
like,
nothing.
There was swords
stated that
they were
everyone
swinging
got your
swords,
dragon
right.
glass. Like we kind of were left to. Wonder. Or assume.
Like. All this fucking shit. We need to mine the dragon glass. We need to make weapons, but nobody, like, not even one word about like, we all got our dragon glass. All right, let's go.
Your dragon glass
like,
blade
seems to be the most important thing next to Valerian steel. Like,
I definitely want dragon glass nunchucks or dragon glass warhammer. So you have Sad Eyes, who learns about Dick and Cock. Then we have Beric and John have a scene talking about being brought back and what the Lord of the Light wants. It was an interesting scene. I didn't like it as much as like Tormund and the Hound in that situation, but
this was a little annoying to me.
But it was all right. It needed to happen. I think I built it up a little bit in my head. We got a kind of cool line with "Death is the enemy," the first one, and the last one you have to keep coming. But everyone dies while the enemy always wins in the end.
It's such bullshit. Oh my god, it's such bullshit.
Well, it does. We need
defending the living is all we got. I am the shield that guards the realm of men. All right.
Maybe that's enough, Joe. It might be enough.
Go barbarian.
So then the Hound sees the mountain from his dreams. That's the top of an arrowhead, and yeah. Okay, so then we get to.
Oh yeah, that's why he's here.
So then we get to this the other section of the episode where we get Dany and Tyrion, and they have a discussion. And let's listen to a few seconds of Dany and Tyrion's discussion.
Oh, their tension moment.
I honestly don't.
You're not a hero.
Oh. I've been heroic on occasion. I once charged through the mud. King's Landing.
I don't want you to be a hero. Heroes do stupid things and they die. Drogo, Jorah, Dario, even this Jon Snow.
Would you call? I mean, Drogo was a lot of things. A great fighter, the moon and stars. Would you call Drogo a hero?
Hero? That I don't know about.
She was calling him like a rapist a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah. Like, I don't remember him. Did he save lives or her life?
The Dothraki. Dothrakis aren't heroes. They're warriors. They're honorable in their Dothraki ways. But I wouldn't call.
Yeah. That was a questionable one.
Yeah, that's a questionable comment. Carmine says Danny's outfit sucked tonight. What the fuck was that shit? Gives your daggers. That was like giving Jamie golden nunchucks. It would be useless.
Golden nunchucks. I liked her outfit. I thought it was very runway fashionable. Haute couture.
Yeah. Should have given Jorah. I just want her to wear armor. It just would make a lot more sense.
It would make more sense. Yes.
And a helmet at least, something.
And those people in the north have got to put their fucking hoods up at least. Their ears should be black and chipping off like dragon glass. Just bigger. Like 100%. No.
Should have given Jorah a dragon glass sword or something, says Carbide. Yeah. Hey Phil, what have you done with your hair, man? It's a request from someone from Quixote in the live chat. She's about to attack you and say, "Don't insult the man bun." She's been requesting it since the beginning of the year. So Rose says, "I semi-agree with Joe. That's enough for him." Drogo was a warlord. Yeah, warlord's a better thing.
Yes, warlord.
He needs armor. No, he was her love interest, so he was her hero. Elizabeth Perkins, I love you. I love you. Big.
You're romantic. That's so sweet.
You're amazing. I like it. Welcome back, Joe. Quixote's like, man bun rules. Don't take it off now. Stephen Michael Davis, what's up, people? And so let's continue here. Let's get through the recap, and then we're going to go back to the phone lines and take some calls before we call to scream. Thank you, everyone that's joined us tonight. Whether you agree with us, think we're a bunch of fucking dumbasses, or are just enjoying the ride. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really do appreciate it and joining us all season. Please come back next week for the final episode of this season. The three of us will be back one more time. And then also this week on Wednesday evening at 10 p.m., I'll be on for my feedback show. So if we don't get to your voicemails and texts tonight, I will get to them on the feedback show with Tony. And
don't have to tell people we're a bunch of dumbasses, Phil. This is known.
They'll figure it out if they don't.
They can figure it out by watching.
Yeah.
Red says, forget about John's plot armor. Forget about John's plot armor. He has plot skin, plot blood. How the fuck do you survive freezing waters and freezing fucking temperatures?
Because he is a snow.
Yeah, sure. Snow's in his blood.
Combination of his dragon blood and his wolf blood allow him to have a super magical ice ability that surrounds him with a force field that allows him to eco-locate where Longclaw is. Benjen or Longclaw. He can find his way up there.
Why didn't he shout out from horseback as he was riding away like, Benjen, who's my mommy?
Well, he thinks.
Or why didn't you come out sooner? So
No, he doesn't think he knows.
okay, so Drogo's a hero. So you're not a. So she says you're not a coward.
Outdo each other. Who can do the stupidest, bravest thing?
Interesting. These heroes you name: Drogo, Jorah, Dario. Even
they're all 6 foot.
No,
he's too short for me.
They've been really on him about that shortiness.
Suppose he stares at you longingly because he's.
Leslie has smiling at us saying, "You guys have me weak tonight." What was Timo's? What's a good question from Timo? I wonder how the first immediate reaction would be, like not having days in between watching the leak. Joe, you didn't watch the leak, right?
No,
I did.
I watched the leak episode this morning to take notes. I didn't watch it before then. I had seen some scenes online and that were leaked to me just because I saw the posts that were put up quickly, but I didn't actually watch the episode till this morning. That I did watch it earlier this morning to take notes so I could watch the episode for fun live at 9 o'clock. So yes, I did, but I did it earlier today. And I don't think it matters either way. But I did watch it at like noon today. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I mean, I if I can watch it to take notes, I will for whatever it's worth. I don't care if John's half snowman. He was being dragged underwater. Dude should have fucking drowned.
Yeah. Or died of hypothermia soon after.
The hypothermia was getting me more.
Like either way, yeah.
It's fucked up. Danny and John, Antoine said, Danny and John got to the night to themselves because Sansa's messed up, and John with Arya and Shane, the bed is not slept in, so knock yourselves out, John and Danny. Joe can't even get the light right in the back. He's bitching about Game of Thrones. What the fuck?
Hey, he said that twice. Put that in there
we have gray area in the live chat. Great to see you, gray area. Lots of love to gray area.
I fixed the light. Is that better?
Yeah, you're much. I can see your shiny face better.
I know. I'm like shiny, sweaty. I need some powder. Phil.
It's hot in here.
It is hot. It's hot in here too. Love you guys. Love to see gray area in the live chat. Love that we got Carmine in the live chat. I promise you, the books of John going underwater coming out, he'd lose a foot or a leg or something. Damn the Hattas on Joe. Why does Benjen have to die? He could have jumped on that horse too. He could have come out at a different time. A lot of different stuff could have happened. So,
yeah.
So,
I think Hattas is haters.
Hater.
The Joe haters.
Then we get some really fun, a fun interaction when Tyrion starts talking about Cersei. I like hearing him talk about her, and when Dany is very. It's interesting to see the way she acts in these scenes. She's acting differently than I thought. Definitely more strong and more forceful. Like I said in another podcast earlier this week, I think when I call her Mad Queen, that's an oversimplification that it doesn't properly describe what's going on with her. She's used to doing something one way that works for her. So she keeps going back to that same well. And when she acts and when she pushes and when she goes all in, so to speak, she wins the hand. And when she folds, she realizes that she had a flush drawn. She would have hit the fucking flush or some shit like that. And every time that happens, she's like, oh, Tyrion, you tell me to fold the shitty hands, to fold 4-7 suited, but I'm going to fucking push all in with it because I push all in. That's what Danny does. That's what I push, and I have dragons, I have this. So it's going to be very interesting just as a cause and effect of the events that happened in this episode, regardless of the silly stuff around it. The shit that happened in this episode, how she's going to react having lost something big.
Yes.
Because in the immediacy of this episode, it seemed like she was more focused on John and him being all right than the loss of the dragon to her forces. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see as time moves forward and as Danny starts to realize that even a broken clock's right a couple times a day, and Tyrion might not always have her best interest in mind, but that doesn't mean he's always wrong. And I think she definitely had to go out there in that situation, but she didn't have to bring all of her dragons. She could have just brought Drogon that time like she brought it last time. She didn't bring
quick rescue.
Phil, I got to say, a broke clock, it depends on how it's broke, Phil. Because if it's running fast or if it's running slow, it's only right a couple times every century.
Yeah, fair point. So you think Tyrion's of that kind of broken clock? Now, okay, leaves that.
I'm just saying, like
Jade Dragon Melee about to pass out, giving us one last super chat donation. Thank you so much, Jade. You're amazing. Lots of love to Sammy. We got Sammy K in the live chat. Tyrion's my favorite. He should sit on the iron throne with Arya by his fucking side as his hand. That would be fucking interesting. I am hungry. Do you have anything to eat, Katie Crow? Fly it over them. Fly them over a raven. Much love. Oh, Lady Warrior of House Brady, much love. Will be listening, but leaving the chat. Smash that like button. Thank you so much. Tyrion is slowly realizing that this shit is not working. I think a lot of the Tyrion and Danny stuff in this episode was showing how he's trying to brainwash her, or not brainwash her, get her on his side.
Well, get her not to be. He's doing what a hand should do.
Yeah, he's trying to temper her reaction to things. She is very fiery.
She's still young too.
Yeah.
Like she's young, and she's an even younger ruler. You know, like this whole power thing is relatively newish to her, a year or two old. Like,
yeah, I think he's doing what a hand is supposed to do. He's cautioning. He's offering other options, other perspectives. She doesn't have to listen or even agree with them, but he's doing his job as the hand.
And pretty much every time, like you said, Phil, it's what she knows. It's how she goes all in, and because every time she comes out with more power. Yep. Every time she kills, she comes out more powerful. She kills Drogon and the Witch. She came out with dragons. She kills again. All those calls, and she comes out with what's that? The cult.
The vault.
The vault.
The not rich dude that said he was rich in the vault.
Yeah, and she comes out with her dragons back from that. And, And like she also, like every time she kills, she comes out with more. She comes out ahead. So it behooves her to maybe keep killing.
Yeah, it definitely helps her out.
She killed Dickon and Dad, and she got a whole bunch of people to bend a knee. Like every time she kills, she comes out more powerful. Yep. So it like that's what she kind of sees, and she feels that. And Tyrion's trying to tell her this: you can gain power by more than just killing. You can do this without having to only use fear. Like, show the people that you love as well, that you care for them as well, that there's more to you, that you're not just Cersei or your father.
So let's continue here a little bit. Sorry, I got distracted with looking at too many chat. The motherfucking chat is fucking amazing. You guys are incredible tonight, going back and forth. I don't know, not everyone's on the same page, but I appreciate all the fucking ups and downs and different opinions about this episode. Is amazing. Again, good or bad, and even if we have some problems with the show, I think Game of Thrones brings passion out and brings for. There's a lot of build up for people that are interested in this series, and Game of Thrones fans are passionate, and I love feeling it, and I definitely feel it tonight good or bad. It's been a tough week with the spoiler and so many people knowing about this episode and having these discussions and then kind of waiting for other people to catch up and watch it too. And if people don't agree, it's just a mishmash. It's a very interesting time. I honestly wish these leaks wouldn't happen. It would be cool to just be able to watch the episode at a time. That being said, if the leaks do happen, I download it and we'll watch it a few hours before and take notes, make my life easier right before the show. I'll fucking do it. But whatever, I suck. So Analysis of Thrones says, I suck and do podcasts with boogers hanging out my nose. So fuck John for giving up on the Northern Independence after Danny agreed to fight regardless. Shame, motherfucker. Shame. Shame, motherfucker.
Shame.
Shame your name. So let's continue here a little bit. And Danny says, Danny and Tyrion just go back and forth about what works in war.
For instance,
That was not impulsive. That was necessary.
perhaps
Perhaps.
the father needed to die and not the son. Perhaps they both needed time to contemplate their mistakes in the solitude of a cold cell. We had no time to discuss the possibilities before you ended their possibilities.
One could be forgiven for thinking you're taking your family's side in this debate.
I am taking their side. You need to take your enemy's side if you're going to see things the way they do. And you need to see things the way they do if you're going to anticipate their actions, respond effectively, and beat them. I want you to do very much because I believe in you and in the world you want to build.
Me too.
The world you want to build doesn't get built all at once, probably not in a single lifetime.
Just like Rome.
How do we ensure your vision endures? After you break the wheel, how do we make sure it stays broken?
Smash it.
You want
Keep
to know
smashing
who's
it.
Iron's Throne after I'm dead.
Really? That's where you go with that? Like,
Yeah, and I'm this is where I'm with you on one point, Joe. I like that Tyrion's trying to tell her to be careful, kind of advising her to keep her temper. I think I skipped over it, but when he starts talking to her about you're prone to lose your temper and Cersei's prone to poking you, so you need to be prepared for her to be poking you.
when did we get an agreement that they were all going to have a sit down to begin with? And what the fuck is
Jamie agreed with Tyrion. We do know that that's been, they have agreed to meet to see this dead body to have the parlay. Yeah, I mean that's pretty.
Right. Again, it's the like stupid like, okay, great, let's all join forces and march north to go fight them, and then we'll hash it out afterwards. Like what?
Yeah.
And what a non sequitur. The Night King's been taking a sweet ass time. Now he's got a dragon, no excuses. Were they trapped on a rock? Would they just break the ice further or keep breaking it? Would it just freeze forever? Okay, we're gonna get into this here.
Yeah.
But we're getting closer to that section right now. So,
well, I still got to go back to the and like he's like, you wanted to break the wheel, and I want who's going to make sure that it stays broken afterwards. And she goes, you want to know who's going to succeed me? Like, that's not necessarily where I thought Tyrion was going with that.
No,
and like his response not being anything but like, that's not really what I'm saying, Danny. I'm saying that, we need to extend your life so it doesn't become an issue of succession. Like, that's where he's going with it. And she like takes it there. He engages with her, and it sets up this second narrative or another narrative sort of that it gets engaged with on like the fringe of stuff later on with Danny and Jon again, which was also brought up in the past when these are magnificent beasts or gorgeous beasts. They're not beasts. They're my children. Like, we got it there. We get this succession talk that doesn't get just shut down immediately, and then we go straight off to that other crap. So it really just felt bad. Carmine, what's up?
I agree completely. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yes, we can. We got a wild haunter has appeared. And Stephen Michael Davis says, what does this mean by break the wheel? She doesn't want to abolish monarchy. Capturing a white was a stupid plan, by the way. Stupid fucking plan. But we've got Carmine from Red Team Review joining us to pop on in for a little bit. Doing a little.
I just wanted to come in for a little bit. So this episode, like, I get like a bunch of people every fucking week telling me the same thing. Dude, nothing happened. What the fuck do you guys mean nothing happened? What are you talking about? Nothing happened. Holy shit. And yeah, something happened. So don't listen to those people. Don't listen to those people. But
subtle things happen.
How do you break the wheel? I guarantee you what they're going to probably do is do the thing that the Ironborn do or the Night's Watch do, democracy. They're just going to pick her to be the ruler anyways, so there'll be not a point. That's probably what break the wheel means, because Aegon started the whole hierarchy, the whole dynasty, and to break the wheel means you got to remove that and have elections until the Russians hack him, but fair elections.
So now that we have Carmine here, we'll pause the recap for a little bit and take a couple questions with him while he steps on in. If anyone wants to call on in right now, we have the phone lines open
until the Iron Bank buys the elections.
714-694-4120. And Leslie Powell asks, how will Cersei's pregnancy plan out? Euron will be pissed next episode. Carmine, what do you think? How will Cersei's pregnancy pan out in this situation? Will Euron give a fuck at all as long as he gets a handy or something?
Well, I don't think Euron is. I don't think Euron even wants Cersei. I think he just wants Dany, and he was just trying to play everybody.
Yeah, I think he just wants power, and I also agree that he has more of a connection to, especially because he looks at the dragons as fucking power. And
Would it be great if the last season, the last episode, we couldn't find a way to get rid of Euron, so Dany has to marry him? Just See, that's Game of Thrones. That's Game of Thrones right there. You have to marry people for alliance purposes. That's Game of Thrones. Maybe she loses like an ear or something in an attack. That's the Game of Thrones we fell in love with.
Oh, a nice scar across Dany's face, like make her horribly ugly.
Now, I haven't really gotten a chance to hear what your thoughts of this episode are, Carmine. Just in general, did you enjoy? Because I enjoyed watching this episode. That doesn't mean it doesn't have its fucking problems. I agree with you that shit happened. I enjoyed the shit that happened, but you can pick it the fuck apart. Because there are a lot of fucking moments. What are your kind of general thoughts about this episode?
It was fine. I mean, as far as dreaded episodes go, because it's a Game of Thrones tradition, as far as they go, I expected a lot more. Like don't kill off Thoros, kill off Tormund. We love Tormund. That's why you should kill him off, and don't kill off Visceron, kill off Drogon. It's more of a gut punch to kill off the dragon that we're all kind of attached to. It's a dreaded episode. Don't get me wrong. It has all the qualities of it. I'm sure they spent much more in this episode than the other ones. But at the same time, though, we've seen better dreaded episodes. We've seen way better ones.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. It wasn't high up there as one of the best episode 9s, or now I guess episode 7s or episode 5s for next season. But it was a decent action moving around the plot kind of episode with some high points. And I mean, a dragon died, but I agree there was kind of wasted potential in some of the moments. That if we lost a few more members of the team in some really crazy ways, a little bit more,
rather than so many fucking red shirts.
That we never fucking talk to, or we never have any, not that I wanted to spend a lot of time with them, but they're just kind of
they just kept popping up to die. I was like, wait, who was that guy all of a sudden? Oh, he's dead. Guess he didn't matter. Like, what?
And there's a couple of things that I had problems with how the walkers weren't as formidable of the walkers. The whites weren't as formidable of an enemy at times. I know we were dealing with a lot of really great fighters, but they seemed to be killing them rather easily, where it seemed like in that situation where Tormund was overwhelmed by all of them, I thought that was a perfect moment for him to go down there, and that would have just been an emotional fucking gut shot. Or again, if Drogon was injured even more or killed in that situation too, it would have been far more emotional than one of the dragons we don't know. Which one was that? Which one was that again?
Yeah.
Like I don't know which one that fucking is.
And again, like the super shot of the flying dragon instead of the one that's like piling people on to escape.
Yep.
You've proven you're badass. You don't have to prove it anymore, dude. Go for the big ass dragon.
Let's listen to a quick or a voicemail here while we get Carmine here. And again, huge thanks to Carmine for jumping on in here tonight for a little bit. And let's play this.
Oh my God, Phil, this is the Bloody Talker, and they fucked it up. I thought they were doing good with this season, and they fucked it up. I mean, I don't even mind killing a dragon, but in that way, in that stupid fucking junior high fucking track and field javelin throw bullshit. What the fuck?
Okay, on that point, Carmine, what did you think about the javelin throw part? Did you think that was a little cheesy, or did that not bother you too much?
I mean, it didn't bother me too much. How else are they supposed to take down the dragon? I'm glad it was. As far as the White Walkers go, like, how else are they supposed to do it? We want them to be menacing, but we don't want them to be overpowering. So having, a fucking amazing baseball throwing arm, that's fine. Having them do it by its spear, that's fine. I would rather them do that than summon like a giant snowstorm that turns into like a face from like you guys ever see the Mummy movie from like 1999 or something?
That would have been horrible.
Where it turns the sandstorm turns into like a face, like that would have been so lame. But at least with the spear, it's more practical. But it was fine. It was fine.
It was better than the fireballs the children were throwing.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, so much better.
Oh, Stephen Michael Davis, $5 donation saying Baba Booey. Lots of love.
But like, you have this amazing, great baseball throwing arm, and the first thing you throw that spear at is the flying dragon, not at John sailing away on the boat, not at the dragon on the ground, not at Danny on the dragon's back, not like
The
lobbing
biggest
spears to
dragon.
the island the whole time. How many White Walkers do you have there? How many spears? Like, why aren't you?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Like it just seemed like, okay, now there's a flying dragon. Let me target that. Like I thought it was horrible. Again, not as bad as the fireballs thrown, but it just seemed so.
It's not their best.
Like, yeah, I agree with you. What are they going to do? How are they going to do it? But like, the overwhelming numbers of undead is how you do it. Like, why are 6 people able to fend off 1,000 fucking White Walkers swarming you from?
So Joe,
all
just to
sides?
do like a bunch of hyenas jumping on a lion.
Swarming.
Surrounded a dragon and kind of took it down that way, maybe, or something.
Right, like hyenas are when they can do that. Like you have, like,
and just for my taste, Joe,
home forward and scare, and it falls short. And they tried to use the fire dragon wagon thing, and again,
for my taste in it, it didn't bother me. The only thing that bothered me about it was the sound effect. The wama 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 wama, the Bionic Man kind of sound effect that they did when he threw it. But the actual thing didn't bother me. That's just kind of a cheesy thing.
Does it also then highlight the difference between Cersei's scorpion and this thing's javelin? It's like the same weapon used, only like kind of the same weapon used, but
it definitely set it up. It set it up, showing you get Drogon hit earlier in the season was a good setup to show how easily a dragon can be hit in a situation like that with someone that's a little bit more practiced. Because I do think we haven't really
because he has all the practice in the world throwing javelins at fucking dragons.
We don't know what that guy's been through. He might have lived so long with dragons before. Like,
so then where are his other dragons?
His life.
You don't know his life, Joe. You don't know what the fuck he's been through.
Oh yeah, he's been tortured by the children. He had to write letters of ransom to his family forced by the children.
When he was just a boy.
When he was just a boy, you fuckers. So everyone in the live chat, thank you so much for joining us. It's fucking incredible tonight. Let's. What is better, killing John or Danny or a dragon? Duh. No, that's not real. Both. Fucking both. So I did not expect them to resurrect. So let's listen to the rest of Bloody Talker's question here.
Oh my god, dude. And Arya is fucking retarded. Because ever writing her lines and her dialogue is fucking stupid. I mean, I don't even understand any of her motivation as a character anymore. I don't understand what the fuck is Sansa gonna kill Arya now? Is that why she sent away Brienne? So that she can't stop her from killing Arya? Because she's afraid of being killed by Arya. Why wouldn't she send Brienne away? Because Brienne would stop Arya.
It's not even.
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
It's not even necessarily that she's afraid.
1 second, Joe.
Danny lost her kids, so now she wants to fuck John, I guess, now. I don't know.
Okay, we'll take one point at a time. Joe, what do you think about that? And then we'll go over to Carmine.
Arya, Brienne gets sent away, and it almost seemed at first like that's exactly why she sent Brienne away, so that she could if she needed to, kill Arya before Arya makes that letter public.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But
Really?
Carmine,
Why
what do you
else send Brienne away?
Carmine, what do you think about that?
I think the whole Baelish brought up Brienne coming in and intervening if the two Stark sisters were to fight. That's exactly why Sansa sent Brienne away. The Lord Baelish, and they're gonna make it Scooby Doo, where like the Stark kids team up and kill Littlefinger. I'm telling you right now, because I don't remember. There's a line in the trailer. We discussed this on the podcast. There's a line in the trailer where Sansa says, "The lone wolf dies, but the pack survives." Has she said that yet?
I think she said that in a previous season, no? Or earlier
No,
this year?
we just saw it in the trailer. I don't think she said it yet, Carmine.
So she's gonna fucking say it. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna reveal that Arya and Sansa have been like trying to lure Littlefinger into a thing, and then Sansa's gonna say that stupid line, and it's so dumb. And then they're gonna have Littlefinger killed, and it's gonna be so lame because it's so Scooby Doo-ish. You know, he would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Arya's masks look like the Scooby-Doo masks.
They do.
That is how, because Bloody Talker's right. Arya is fucking retarded. This nobody in their right mind would look at that letter and go, "Yep, Sansa's a douche." Like nobody would do that.
It's all her fault.
Right.
So yeah, no.
Rob is dead because of Sansa. That's right. What would Lady Mormont do if she read this? Lady Mormont wouldn't care. Fuck Lady Mormont.
Dude, I take it one step further with
Take her 69 men and go away.
Yeah, so she'd leave women and they'd go away. And with Sansa, she watched Sansa on stage. If you were actually in that situation, did you see Sansa crying? And I'm not one to defend Sansa, but in that situation when Ned was killed, you really expected her to do something in that situation.
Seriously.
Come on, Arya. Come on. I understand that you're not used to being around people so much anymore, but come on.
I just hope like because they're doing it. A lot of people are wondering and getting mad of it, of course, so they can reveal it next episode. They're doing it because they don't know if Littlefinger's spies are all over the place, so they have to keep going on with this show.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think, based on what based on the whole Brienne thing. Because last episode I thought it was fucking stupid too.
Now, this is kind of a loaded question because I know the answer to what I'm going to ask you, Carmine. But the last part of Bloody Talker's question was about Dany and Jon. Do you feel like the Dany and Jon stuff, if it ends up happening, which I think we all think it's going to end up happening, is earned?
No, it's not earned. It's like the reason whatchamacallit, the reason Khal Drogo, from what I remember in the books, the reason that was a little earned is because Khal Drogo and Dany got to know each other a little bit more, and she challenged his views on women. I remember in season 1 where whenever he wanted to, he would take her and fuck her doggy style. And then she kind of learned to kind of, make sure that next time they did it, she would be looking at him. In a sense, that does challenge it. Jon and Ygritte was earned because Ygritte was like that firecracker in his life that would spark him up. And you know what I'm saying?
Yep, absolutely.
So Jon and Dany, they just met each other, like 2 weeks ago? But you haven't had any discussions about, yourselves and who you guys were before all this happened and, about the past. You should get to know each other a little bit more before doing that. I mean, Dario and Dany, they got to know each other through pillow talk.
Yep.
But Jon and Dany, that comes out of nowhere. So it's not really earned in a sense.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree.
I feel that too.
And that's my problem with it more than the ancestral applications of it, which are just neither one of them know. So, and for Targaryens, an aunt and a regardless of what.
They don't know that they're related, and they weren't raised in a family together or anything like that. So to them, they're just strangers. There's no real incest.
Obviously, they're going to get together. We have Kit and Emil and they have to do it. We can't not have them do it.
We need the prince that was promised.
Yeah, their kids.
We made fun of it like we were saying how Dany is like the typical high school girl. First she goes for the bad boy, Khal Drogo. Then she goes for the hipster douche, Dario. And now she's going to go finally to the nice guy, who's Jon. And there you go. That's basically all of us in high school.
So we got Vergas. The Stark squabbling is all Hot Pie's fault. Arya should be in King's Landing killing Cersei so Dany can and Jon can focus on the Night King. Come on, motherfucker. Littlefinger loves the friend zone. And before we and Carmine's welcome to stay as long as he can, but I know he can't stay super long. Before we get off Arya and Sansa, God, and I don't even want to do this to you because I know how you feel about him at this point. But is there any redeeming quality? Is there any way Littlefinger gets out of this situation unscathed? And is he up to some other plan on the show, working for Cersei, doing something? Is there any redemption for the Littlefinger that we know right now this season, Carmine, or is he fucked?
No, there is no redemption. Like Littlefinger has given Sansa enough monologues and speeches to where she already knows every move he'll make. His biggest downfall is that he thinks he's clever.
Yep.
He thinks he's too clever.
He's the cleverest man in the room, always.
Always. And this is a shame because the actor, Aidan Gilliam, I think I said his name right, the guy knows the character very well. Like, he's read the books, specifically Littlefinger chapters. Every chapter Littlefinger appears, he's in. He's spoken to George Martin before. The guy is very into this character, and he loves the character, and he enjoys playing it and portraying it. He's very good at it. And it's a shame that they gave him nothing to do and nothing to work with this season. And he's annoying. I love the guy, but he's annoying.
Yeah, very.
Every time he makes it on
creepy
scene,
guy in the shadows,
I'm
slithering
cringing.
around.
People say redemption for what? He's a stupid rat. I don't mean redemption as in being a good guy. I just mean redemption as in being a smart, calculated.
Get out alive.
Because I feel like it once Littlefinger that I would know in the show, and I'm not even talking about book Littlefinger versus show Littlefinger. I'm talking about the Littlefinger that's been established on the show right now. Once Bran said to him, "The chaos is a ladder," something he said to Varys in the fucking throne room 3 years ago, wherever the fuck it was in Westerosi time. The minute the weird psychic kid starts calling my lines out to me, I'm getting the fuck out of there. I'm taking my Vale soldiers, hiding in that fucking Vale, taking some food or whatever, and stalling out in there and fucking getting the hell away from these crazy Stark kids.
But his plan is stupid, though. It makes no sense. It's also kind of insulting to Arya's intelligence if you think about it. Like, hey, by the way, I'm totally going to turn you against your sister from this letter that clearly Cersei was over her shoulder as she wrote it. Right? Like, that's so insulting to your intelligence. Like, come on.
Yep.
Fucking ridiculous. Walking David says, fight everywhere, every direction. Over there, over here, over there, everywhere.
No, and she should have no worries about anybody in the North seeing that letter whatsoever. Everybody already heard about that letter, most likely. You know, like, that's probably something they would hold up and be like, and they're forcing our daughter to write and say this shit. My sister is being forced into this. Like, my sister is prisoner. Everybody knows. Like, who the fuck cares?
No,
why would you care, Sansa?
Because it can paint her in a weak light. If she can be so easily, as Arya puts it, turned to, betray her father and her family.
I mean, it
back
could.
Then why not now?
It could, but in the North,
she's a woman.
I love the variation in the chat. Totally agree with Carmine. Joe's an idiot. Carmine's worse than Joe.
I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't go right. What?
Bill, you're an idiot. I love the fucking chat. You guys are amazing. Love you guys.
The hate. We feed on your hate.
Question: why was Sansa summoned to view the White before they even captured one? Cats of Saturn. Carmine, why was Sansa summoned? Is that Cersei just trying to lay a trap and see if Sansa's stupid enough to show up there?
Right. Summon. Oh.
Actually, I think I skipped over that part. I skipped over what
That's why Brienne was being sent down to King's Landing.
To be there so she could see the Hound again, or she could see.
Yeah, that's what you guys told me. That's what everybody told me. But I think I skipped this part. I don't know why Cersei would do that. Like, who the fuck? Who the fuck cares what Sansa's doing?
Who told Sansa to go? Who's sending Sansa a raven to tell her to go to King's Landing? Jane, the Maester. Like what?
Well, I think it was summoning Jon, but Jon's not in the North, so whoever is leader of the North.
No, it said specifically her. Like, I think I mean, I have the audio of it. I think it says, like, I'll play it at some point, but I think she says, I've been summoned to go to this meeting or something like that. So I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe it's just I'll choose to believe that it's Cersei trying to lay a trap. Timo asks, I don't understand.
A very cunning trap. Oh, we'll get that Sansa back now.
She has Qyburn setting up the railroad tracks and behind the Catholic. We'll tie her to the tracks and I'll twirl my mustache as she dies from train. Oh.
I just don't understand why Arya is being called an idiot when Sansa's always getting excuses for her stupid actions. Okay, I think if we want to give Arya an excuse, if I want to Arya-splain here a little bit, you could say that she's been away from human interaction for so long that now being forced to interact.
She's living with the fucking wolves?
No, but she's been living in sort of a situation where it's kill or be killed for so long, or like really harsh training. So to be put into a situation where you actually have to listen to people, it makes sense why she's having some trouble quickly adjusting to that kind of, to all
Where
the.
she has to listen to people. She's always had, like, the faceless men blinded her for not listening.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? The Hound she had to listen to the Hound, so I guess she was living with dogs and wolves, right?
I'm trying to Arya-splain here. Give me.
And I'm saying your explanations
not-
are falling
no,
back into that
not-
same
it's not
question
to
that
be
was being asked.
Oh fuck!
Like no. If you want to know, Katie can explain the answer to that question really well.
What? Can I?
Why?
Okay.
Yeah. Why everybody's? I don't know.
What?
You're making excuses for Arya,
Is
but
this
not
my
Sansa.
specialty somehow?
Is that what it is?
I guess so. Stark's dumb, mate, but I love dumb, brave, handsome men, the best kind. Sansa is right. Arya wouldn't have survived in Sansa's position, nor Sansa in Arya's. Arya has not gotten all the intel we do. She's partial infos about Sansa, and she's trying to protect Jon. I think Arya's the wave. Carmine, what do you think about that theory? I'm sure you've heard that. Is Arya really the waif because Arya couldn't have survived the stab wounds to the gut?
That's an interesting theory. Coming into this season, I heard it before, and someone said it to me. I said to them, I quote, "That's the stupidest theory I've ever fucking heard." But then going into episode 3, having her kill the phrase, okay, still stupid. The hot pie thing, all right, maybe you got something. And then the whole Winterfell stuff, it could be possible, I guess, had they written her character as more of a psycho instead of someone who's like very disjointed and very all over the place. That's my one problem with Arya this entire season, is that she's just so different and just so meh. It's all over the place. So it could be the waif. That would be interesting. That would be the big twist. But they wouldn't do that. We love Arya. Arya is everybody's favorite character. So that
would be the stupidest fucking M. Night Shyamalan twist ever. That would be like, we didn't know what to do, so we had M. Night come in and write this little plot twist for us. And like after a season and a half, Arya is really the fucking waif. That like, oh my god! I hear people say that, and I'm like,
but you wouldn't see it coming. A majority of the people watching it wouldn't see it coming.
I mean, aside for all the people that have said it.
So great. You guys are fucking cracking me up today in the live chat. You guys are awesome. At Comic-Con, someone said, this is a message from area code 330. At Comic-Con, Sophia Turner said that she feels that Sansa's been through more and is smarter than Jon. And that kind of pissed me off.
She's been through more than Jon? Knife to the heart?
Now, let's continue. I think Tyrion is thinking about who comes after you because of what he's lived through, the Robert Stannis Renly, Joffrey twat situation. Knowing that Dany can't have babies, that would become an issue again sooner or later. And the realm is to come together and fight the ice zombies and live in peace even after. It needs to be addressed, especially if Dany's going to go flying off with Drogon to every single danger. So if the captain's going to go down in the away missions, does there need to be a backup captain? So I agree with that. How do you think Dany should handle her succession if she can't have kids? Is there any option? Give it to Tyrion?
Give it to Tyrion. It sounded like Tyrion wanted it too. It sounded like Tyrion. Yeah, you could adopt. I think she's gonna do more like democracy elections. Have all the great lords come together and they choose who they want, which will in turn they'll just choose her. But who should replace her if she dies?
Little Lyanna. Baby bear.
A dragon. I think a dragon should do it.
Dude, I would love it if she just randomly chose Gendry just to be a troll.
But it's probably gonna be Jon, right?
God, I fucking hope not. Jesus
Marry you
Christ.
or something.
John, you say it a lot, Carmine. You've been talking about a lot of this in your videos and stuff about how John is superstar, everything, all that, and a fucking bag of potato chips and shit like that.
Like,
And
I don't know if you guys ever have played have sat together around the room with a bunch of friends and played like an RPG tabletop thing, but John is that
Never.
type of.
We're not that kind of geek.
no,
Nope, not us.
John is that type of character that like you make up in your head when you're playing an RPG, where you want him to be like fucking tall and strong, and he's gonna have a huge cock and muscles and that scar over his eye. That's basically what he is.
Well, Jon Snow doesn't have a huge cock, and he's only 5'5".
I don't know.
Because Tormund said so.
And he could be joshing him.
No.
compared to
be joking, yeah.
compared to Tormund, everyone has a small cock too, compared to the free folk. But I agree with you, Carmine. And he's like one of those players. Even when I play like sports video games, you just give every character every possible thing 9, 9s on
10 on shooting, 10 on passing, 10 on
10 on
Load
everything.
him up. Load him up.
So it's popular, but is the end result of the character like that so built up so there's a big fall to come, or is he just going to be can't lose, Rocky wins every movie kind of situation? It's going to be.
I feel like he'll die at the end. Like the reason we love Jon Snow, or we did before, was because he was a bastard. He came up, he fought for what he has now. But finding out that he's Rhaegar's son, legitimate son, that just kind of brings his character down a bit. Like we like that underdog tale, but it turns out the underdog wasn't really an underdog all this time. He was the chosen one, the chosen prince. It's a little cliche, especially for Jon Snow.
Yes, he is the Anakin. So
he grew up as Cinderella.
We have a call. Someone was saying, this is the season to hate. This isn't the season to hate. Season 5 still the season to hate for me. But fuck that shit. I'd rather watch anything that's happened in this season than anything in Dorne on fucking repeat. So let's take a call from area code 715. Caller, who are you? Where are you calling from? And what is your question or comment? Area code 715. You're on.
What's up, guys? It's the Madcap. Great show tonight. Good of Carmine to stop in, even though he's got to work tomorrow. But 2 quick points. Did you notice kind of at the tower, I've seen screenshots where when the children were making the White Walker, that was the same spot, like the same mountain and stuff like that. And then did you catch the camera shot when they were all in a circle? They like went out of their way to go up top on that camera shot, and that kind of reminded me of like the rocks, where they're created. And second quick point, and then I'll hang up. I think the wolves, how the wolves, George Martin was saying how the wolves are connected. Now, remember Arya's wolf got away, and Sansa's wolf got killed because of what Arya's wolf did? I think Arya's going to end up getting killed for Sansa, and damn, Sansa's going to live. And I hate her, but I think that's what's going to happen, because that wolf thing, that was a big thing, and that kind of gets glossed over a lot. So, great show, guys. Love you guys. I'll take my answers off air.
All the wolves get glossed over. Every single
time,
one of them. Like, as far as the books are concerned, the wolves are non-story in this fucking show.
Yeah.
Something that you think is going to be so prominent from the first season. From episode 1, I think they find those fucking wolves. And you think, like, this is going to be awesome. And then in season 2, you think, this is going to be awesome. And then in season 3, you think, well, so is this going to be awesome? No. And then in season now, you're like, oh, wait, there was another wolf aside from Ghost. Like, come on. Oh, is that a shaggy head?
Awesome.
They're non-issue.
Awesome call, Madcap. Carmine, do you have any thoughts on the caller's points?
He said Arya's gonna die to protect Sansa.
Yeah. Or because of Sansa.
No, she's gonna live. She's gonna do that thing that Yoda did in episode 2 where he fights Count Dooku. She's gonna do that to a White Walker, kill it, and then after the series ends, she's gonna go back to Jaqen. That's why he was smiling, because he knows that once you get a taste of that blood from being a faceless man, you can't walk away from it. I'm hoping that's why Arya is so weird this season, is because she's starting to like killing people. So she might be going back to Jaqen, might be doing her own thing as
Jaqen, I've come to complete my training, and Jaqen's gonna be sitting there dying and stuff. Oh, You need to go to Dagobah. What are you fucking talking about? The Dagobah Islands. They're off the Summer Isles. Fuck.
Dagobah Islands.
If anyone else wants to call in, you can call in at 714-694-4120. We got Carmine for a little bit here. Thank you again, Carmine, and feel free if you have to go at any point to be like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, man. Like I kind of feel bad because I haven't been able to like. I have to do the preview breakdown shit after it fucking premieres. So I've been stuck not being able to come on. But so I do apologize about that. But yeah. I'll try to get Preston on next time with me because I want to get him on here.
Anytime,
the live stream.
As we always say, you guys are always fucking welcome. We'd love to get you and Preston on and taking some calls. That'd be a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah, it would.
So let's get back to some recap. But if anyone else wants to call back in, they definitely can. But we're at the point of the bear. So the bear comes and Gendry tells us that the bear has blue eyes. But could we see the blue eyes at any point, or do we only hear it from Gendry's voice?
I saw them at one point. They flash.
They did flash. So the bear comes out. I thought this scene was really fucking awesome, really intense for the most part with the bear. I thought I have no complaints about this scene. Any thoughts on this scene, Carmine? The bear scene? You thought it was shitty or no? What did you think of it?
Unpopular opinion. I don't like CGI animals and bears. Like I thought it was so randomly. I thought it was kind of dumb. If you're gonna kill off Thoros, don't kill him off with a bear. Have him go down in the blaze of glory. Maybe protecting Danny, Drogon, and all the other characters by heading off towards the Night King. Try to fight him off.
How about also why? Okay, so all the dead are together in a big fucking army. The giants, all these other dead walker, like all of them. They're all there in this one big army, except this bear's out foraging for food. Like what the fuck is this bear doing out alone away from the whole like just random fucking undead bear, not with everybody else. Like
oh yeah, you bring up a great point. Where were the giants? Why couldn't the giants just pick up some of those whites and just throw them on the island? Like
I didn't see any giants. No giants.
No giants.
I also really want to know. I guess I'm wrong. I thought, do the individual the whites have individual consciousness themselves? I thought they were just like and I'm gonna get all geeky Star Trek. I thought it was more of a Borg thing.
Hive mind.
Yeah.
With the hive mind, where the White Walkers kind of control big amounts of them. It seemed like at times that's a little. I want to understand. I'm not gonna call it wonky just because I don't know. I would love in next season or in future ways that we get it more information of how all of that works. And I know it's too much information. Some people are like, oh yeah, I don't want to know too much. The mystery's kind of cool, but I want to know the rules of how it all works.
Yeah.
I want to understand why I shouldn't be pissed off or shouldn't be kind of weirded out by that. You killed that one White Walker and then then all the whites die except for one. So where's that one's host? Did that one's host get mixed up? Was that the one stray in the mix of the other ones? I mean, how the fuck did that happen? I mean, like, I just want to understand it a little bit better, and maybe it's not bad shit. Maybe it's just
Oh look, isn't that nice? They all died but one.
Yeah, that was
Quick,
one of my
jump
issues.
on it.
That was one of my issues with this episode.
Convenient, huh? Very convenient.
And then what's it do? It stands there like, oh no, I'm surrounded. Oh wait, who do I attack? Oh no, there's alive people by me. Like what? It just stopped attacking? Like,
Also, my question is, can't the Night King automatically reanimate any dead people? So the minute Thoros dies, I mean the minute he dies.
Why not animate him?
Absolutely.
Why not animate him? Do you have to touch him? Like I don't. We've seen him just we've seen the Night King rise dead people without touching them. Maybe because he had already turned those.
His buddies were running behind him, tagging everyone.
It would be interesting to find out that. I hope it probably won't get addressed, but I guess the argument for that is the reason the Night King couldn't rise Thoros was because he was a member of the Lord of Light religion. So I guess it's kind of like that thing where
fire was protecting him.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Maybe the Night King can't go where the Lord of Light protects, something like that. So
and they can't go in water either, apparently.
Well, but some of them did and climbed out, but only a few.
They did climb out.
Yeah, at one point, a few. Yeah, because they were dragging.
And they would have had to go underneath to get the dragon later in the episode, so they couldn't swim when they fell in. But some did go underwater to put the chains around the.
Right, we can't walk across the ice or walk underwater, so we're just gonna stand here and let them. But then all of a sudden they're fucking scuba diving, hooking the fucking dragon up.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing, like, and I'm telling you, like, this whole episode, like, all these questions go through my head while I'm watching, and it makes me feel like I'm watching shitty shit. And I'm sorry, this episode, hands down, like, scene after scene after scene, I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? Okay, great dialogue, but like, really? You set me up with this dialogue in like the shittiest of fucking places, in like the shittiest of circumstances, in the most rushed aspect, and then like those fucking chains, dude.
Seb, we'll get to the chains, Joe. Seb says
the chains.
The fucking chains, dude. Dude, you're amazing, Joe. Seb says, dude, that wasn't a white. It was just a really ugly wildling punting into and
it gets rough up there.
And Broke Black Man says it's simple, Phil. Night King knew some shit like that would happen. So if it happens, the extra one would yell, and that was so maybe. I guess that's the side thing. You don't know the Night King's power. He could have visions and shit like that and projections. He could have known the dragon was coming. He could have prepared for everything, I guess. But that's kind of like saying, a wizard did it. And that's kind of like going with what Carmine was saying with the RPG, that this, and then there's a god character that can see and predict everything. So I also want to know a side question as we're sort of getting to this point. We're in the bear. Let me just kind of zip through here. We're into the bear. Thoros gets taken down with a bunch of other nobodies. And then the flaming sword cauterizes the wound. The hound freezes in the fire. So then we get to Littlefinger and Sansa talking about not trusting the Northern Lords. And I don't want to talk too much about this scene. We already talked about it. Talked about Sansa and Arya a lot and Littlefinger. Littlefinger is obvious and ridiculous in this scene. And Sansa, I hope to fucking shit. She is a fucking idiot, Timo. I love you. She's a fucking idiot. And that's not because I love you. She is. I want her to be smart here. She knows Littlefinger. She's given us lip service for it. Carmine, do you think Sansa can get smart here and basically put all the pieces together about what's going on here? Who's going to be the one to figure this out, Arya or Sansa?
I want I want Sansa to figure it out because she's gone through so much shit since season 1. It's only fitting for her character to do that. I mean, all the Stark kids have gone through their arcs. You know, Bran had to go beyond the wall, come back, get his thing. Arya, she had to find, her courage, her strength, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Sansa is the only Stark kid who hasn't really, come into her own and is doing her own thing. Like Bran went through that shit, in a sense by himself. Arya, same thing by herself. Yeah. It would kind of diminish Sansa's character a little if she had to get Bran's help and Arya's help to take out Littlefinger. If she was just intelligent on her own and she's been, watching people, learning things from Cersei and Marjorie and Olenna and Peter, and she uses all of that to her advantage to take him down, her character would come full circle. She wouldn't be the same fucking person we saw in seasons 1, 2, and 3. She'd be, grown up, mature, and a player in the game.
Here we go. I'm 100% with you. What I want to see happen here is her to figure this out kind of on her own, and during one of these conversations, slide that Valyrian steel dagger right up through fucking Baelish's jaw. And then because she also realizes, he may be in control of the 40,000 Vale troops, but if I kill him, I already know I can control that little Robin bastard. Just like, the Queen has taught me back at King's Landing, and the Queen of Thorns had taught me back in King's Landing, and Marjorie was trying to teach me back in King's Landing. I don't need Baelish at all, and I can see through this. I can kill him and go seduce that little fucker, marry him, take his fucking Vale kingdom.
Wow, okay.
Like, let's see her come into her own. Let's see her. Like, I know that's kind of like, seduce him and take his kingdom and shit. That's a little harsh or like the ugly.
Seduction
of the little boy Robin. But like, that's what she can do.
Little
she knows she
Robin.
can do, but she knows she can do that.
Cousin Robin.
You know?
Yeah, sure.
Now, she knows what men want. She knows what Robin wants. She knows that she can fucking slide that
To
dagger right up
push
his
strangers
chin.
out the moon door, Joe.
Right.
Now, that's a fair point, though, that Joe makes, because in Season 2, Episode 9, Cersei tells Sansa, the best weapon a woman has is between your legs.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying I want Sansa, who in the show is like 14, 15. I'm not saying I want her to, start seducing people, but Sansa's very good-looking. Even in the books, like, she's ridiculously good-looking, and everybody falls for her. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary, out of character for her to use that to her advantage,
Especially when this season she said things like, I admire Cersei on some level, so it could see her going to what Cersei's playbook, so to speak, or remember the things Cersei told her. Sammy says, Carmine, stop. We all know you love Sansa, smiley face. And I'm no big city lawyer, but I think the Tormund Hound spin-off series should be polar opposites. It's a working the new song. Okay, so what we're talking about there with the Sansa and the Arya stuff and who's going to figure it out, how that all is ultimately going to conclude. If it ends up being, I saw a couple people in the live chat say this, Bran. If Bran does it, is it a cheat? Is he just kind of like a cheat character? If he's the one that actually breaks them up or convinces them, is that a good thing or a bad thing, Carmine?
Convinces who of what? If Bran does what?
If Bran breaks it down to Sansa and Arya that Littlefinger's playing them.
Yeah, it kind of would be. Like, we don't want our characters to have all the answers given to them by someone who can fucking time travel and skin change into fucking ravens and shit. Like, we don't want our characters to to be smart and grow and find out things on their own. So yeah, it would be kind of lame and dumb for that to happen.
Yeah, if they just and it would also deball a lot of what you were just saying about the growth that could be for both their characters in the sense of both of them working together to figure out what's going on and use both their strengths rather than focus on their weaknesses.
But you know what? You know why it's gonna happen though? Because this is an RPG. We gotta wrap it up. We got an hour to go before we have to go home. We gotta wrap it up. So.
No, dude. Carmine, if we do this, if they work together and figure this out, because it would be a great parallel. It would actually make make this episode better, because then the next episode we could show the polar opposite of this episode was their negative strengths. Sansa's ego and Arya's relentlessness working against each other. In the next episode, it could parallel that with showing their strengths. It would be really awesome. No, they're not going to do it. I actually agree with you. I'm fucking hoping. Michael Bennett with the $50 super chat. May have had too many bites of sandwiches tonight, but I'm feeling generous. You guys are making my night. Keep up, Michael Bennett. You're amazing. You get like 5 spins of the fucking wheel or me to finish my fucking beer for you. You're incredible, dude. Thank you so much. And again, huge thanks to Carmine for joining us tonight and Joe and Katie for coming on. We got one more week of this fun, so it's really awesome to be able to talk to you guys.
It's not enough.
It's not
Not enough. And then we have to wait ridiculous amount of fucking time. Okay, so blah 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 blah. He suggests the Lady Brienne. Then we get the Jorah and Thoros scene, which was probably one of my favorite scenes of the entire episode. Just because I love hearing.
To know. All right. How drunk were you when you charged through the breach on Pike? If I'm being honest, I don't remember charging through the breach.
That answers that question.
That answers that question. I just love it when they do things like this. It opens up the world. And I know the callbacks have been really heavy-handed in some cases this season, but this is one of the ones that I really like. Anytime they make reference to other events in Westerosi history, I was talking about this earlier, that seeing Jorah interact with a bunch of other Westerosi characters is a real treat this season for me, considering he's been so isolated with the Daenerys story and then on his own with Tyrion, which was, I guess, one of those characters, but that was still in Essos, and he was sort of on his own, and then the Grayscale storyline meeting up with Sam individually. But now seeing him interact with characters that he has history with and know him from his past, I think it just adds even more to his character rather than just being Sir fucking friend zone there. So I actually really enjoyed this small, subtle scene. How would you feel about it, Carmine?
About which scene?
About the scene with Thoros and Jorah talking about Pike, the battle on Pike.
I always like it when they do stuff like that. Like the first time we ever get Pike mentioned was in season 1 between Ned's captain of the guard, Jury, Jory and Jamie Lannister. I've always wanted them to go into that a bit more, and I'm glad we kind of got it before Thoros did die. It's a nice little scene to have.
Yeah, it was a good goodbye for him to actually have him talk about that and make reference to it, which is an important moment for a lot of characters that we know. And yeah, Phil, I don't know that story that Thoros is, so I have to look it up now. Exactly. That's a good reason why they put that in there. Now, people that don't know about that or don't know about the Greyjoy War can kind of, the Greyjoy Rebellion can kind of look into it a little bit more. So that's why I like when the show does that. It encourages, it has a big, rich world. So when it does nods to that, I don't see it as necessarily fan service. I see it as kind of just good touches for that sort of stuff. So then we get our group wandering. Oh, this is when we see this White Walker group, the battalion of dead guys that are just kind of walking away from the main group. I kind of want to know what that group was doing that they end up hijacking. Jon Snow goes down and fights this White Walker, and this was it was a little too easy, maybe.
They were looking for their lost bear.
Well, yeah, I guess
that's a good one. I like that.
I like that. John Doe, if you want to call in, the phone number is 714-694-4120. And we do have a caller from area code 469. Let's pause the recap for a second and take a caller's question. Caller, who are you, where are you calling from, and what is your question or comment? Area code 469.
Hey there, I'm calling from Dallas, Texas, I guess, right now. And so when I've seen the show, I've never been really super critical about anything, even when you guys have. And in general, I don't critique media that easily. But this episode, like just from the beginning, I just got a weird feeling from it. And I think in the beginning, it was all the talking. Like when you have long gaps of people just soliloquizing about all of their, their plot armor and stuff, it didn't work for me very much, especially the Arya stuff. Like when she just started talking, the actress isn't very good at reciting her lines, and I don't know. I just didn't like it too much.
Yeah. And good call, my friend. And I want to push this onto Carmine as a bigger question. Why do you think this episode, and I know Joe's answer is because it's shitty, but why do you think this episode is getting a lot of hate?
Yeah, this episode made everybody a critic. I don't know. I feel like maybe because I'll ask you guys. You guys are older than me, so you've seen more HBO shows than I have, and I don't mean that as an offense, by the way.
That's right.
I don't mean that as an offense.
No, it's a fact. It's no offense. It's just a fact.
But there's a theory of mine because I used to love before Thrones. I used to love True Blood, that vampire drama in the South. Yep. And as time went on, it got so bad. It just started losing.
I have an idea. Let's make Tara a vampire.
Yeah, that was awful. But yeah, no, like as time goes on, apparently with HBO, you get like franchise fatigue, which is something that you don't really see that much with television shows, but I guess that's a thing now. But it's franchise fatigue for the showrunners. When you're creating something for 7 years, you kind of get tired of it and you do want to wrap it up. Like, I don't know. This episode made everybody a critic. I feel like everybody's expecting the World of Thrones because season 1, which is my favorite season, not every episode was golden, fantastic, winning awards. No. To me, season 6 was awful. This is way better than season 6.
Interesting. I like season 6 a little bit better than you, and I tend to agree with what you're saying. And to go to your bigger point there about HBO shows, it is. I mean, The Sopranos is a good example of a show.
I've never seen The Sopranos, so okay, exactly.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but the end of the season, the end of the series did not end on a good point.
Oh, I'm aware of that. Yeah, the last episode, I'm aware of that. How shitty that was.
That wasn't the worst part of the final season. The worst part of the final season was a beginning section of, and all I'm going to say is Kevin Finnery. I'm not going to go down that road about what that means, but the people that have seen it will know what I'm talking about. It kind of had a bad route. Oz is another HBO show. The final couple of seasons got kind of ridiculous and got like supernatural a little bit. Some people will say The Wire, but a lot of people say that last season when we dealt with the newsroom got a little weird. So it is for the HBO dramas, the big dramas.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never watched True Blood. That is a thing, Carmine. That
yeah, like, I'm glad I'm not the only one like noticing that because. By the way, the comment section tear me apart for not watching The Sopranos. Let me make it worse for you guys. I've never seen The Wire. I know, I'm a fuckhead, but
It's surprising that I didn't watch it until like a year ago, 2 years ago. I finally watched the entire Wire, and I was upset that I hadn't watched it sooner.
Oh, we got Michael Davis who wants to get his voice in the chat. He says Sopranos.
I was also
and Wire
glad I didn't watch
really
it when it was on.
And no, some people believe this too. Sopranos and Wires never really declined. Sopranos ending was great. The Sopranos ending is polarizing. Some people will say it's great. Some people will say it's bad. I think the final season leading up to that, Blue Comet, the episode Blue Comet was incredible. I think everything leading up to that was great. 6A was poor. 6B wasn't. And Oz got weird. The Wire, I personally like the last season too, but it's definitely a thing though that people say about those final seasons of HBO.
Well, I will say this. I think the reason this episode made everybody a critic is because we're so used to the second to last episode being that dreaded episode, and in a sense, it didn't live up. We didn't get that gut punch once again. Like we didn't get that. I mean, Thoros died. I said this in my review. So, Game of Thrones, if you're making a television show or a movie, you're not supposed to be catering to people like you, me, Joe, and Katie. Like, we know the material, we know the books, we know the names of all the dragons. But the average Joe Schmo who watches this stuff Sunday to Sunday and doesn't think about it in between, he doesn't know who Visceron or Rhaegal are. Like, he doesn't. So, he knows who Drogon is, but he doesn't know the other dragons. So, as a dreaded episode, it didn't live up to that hype that previous one set up.
Yep, and just a couple of people in the live chat are saying Breaking Bad, Becker, no, the final show ever. No, Breaking Bad for me, yeah, absolutely. But they ended the stronger than any show. That breaks the rule. But
it also has to do with Carmine. It's their second to last episode usually gives us something we haven't seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Battle of Hardhome, or even the Battle of the Bastards. It's a regular fight scene on a field, but those piles of bodies and the giant. And then you had like the fight at the wall with Mance Rayder and everything, the scythe on the wall. These are all, or the beheading of Ned fucking Stark. Like these are all moments that like TV hasn't given us really before.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like with this episode, they took the wagon scene.
It was all a rehashing.
And they took the hard home scene and they kind of put it together and said, "Here's your episode, your big moment." And then they killed the wrong dragon, and like it all kind of fell flat. It all kind of felt like there was this big buildup, even to like the long wait on the island, and we're waiting for the dragons, or we're waiting for the fight.
Are you talking about Lost for a second? The long wait on the island.
Yeah, exactly, right. And then like it starts, and it's like, really these 6 men? Okay, I can understand maybe they get the better of the first few dead that come up on the rock, but there's thousands of them that are coming across that ice now. What? How long did you stand on that rock for? How long did it take Gendry to run back to the wall, the crow to get down south, and her to fly fucking north?
An hour.
Like,
all good questions. Let's see if let's go to a call. We have another caller here. This is we've got 15 minutes left on the phone line, so let's take a couple more calls. If anyone wants to get their phone line in, we got 15 minutes left on the phone line, so now's the time to call, as we're going to kind of zip through the end of the recap here and start to wrap this up, because we basically talked about this whole episode. Even though we haven't necessarily hit every point on the recap. So this is from area code 732. Area code 732. What's going on?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. This is my name Sam. I just from the chat, John Doe. Thanks for giving me the phone number. Phil, appreciate it.
No, appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
No, it's an honor to be on. I always listen every week. I just real quickly, I wanted to see. I haven't listened to the whole. I was off and on the whole time here, but I don't know if you touched upon the Arrowhead Mountain. I don't know if you guys talked about that, but I'm not sure if you guys realize. I think that's the same mountain that the Children of the Forest created the Night's King with. That was the same area which that happened. I don't know if you guys like noticed that or touched upon that at all.
Awesome.
And it wasn't all snowy, right? It was nice and green and lush at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In that scene.
Yeah, that was like the flashback that Bran went to. That was the same area.
Interesting.
Awesome call, man.
Didn't
Thank you
even
so much
really
for
occur to
calling
me,
in,
yeah.
dude. Really do appreciate it. Really appreciate the support. Have a great night, man. Yeah. So did you guys notice? I think we mentioned that a little bit earlier, but Carmine, did you notice that was the same mountain?
Oh yeah, someone sent me a screen cap of it. Wasn't that the same mountain like last season that we saw with like Leaf's flashback?
Yes.
Is that what he's saying?
Yes. Yeah. I think, and I'm pretty sure it was.
So basically, Beyond the Wall at one point was not all snowy. It was all like green and stuff. I mean,
yeah, when they were making the child,
Mhm.
yeah, he was up against a tree that they pushed it in. Like
fucking children of the forest.
looked, and it wasn't all snowy. It was like lush and green.
Yeah,
And
it was a beautiful forest.
yeah, that was kind of cool. I like the big thing for episode 1 was that the mountain that the Hound saw in his vision wasn't like an actual mountain. It was his brother, the mountain. That was like the big thing. So, whatever. But I want to touch on something Joe said. Joe, you are absolutely fucking right, and I hope I can quote you on that. The reason this episode a lot of people didn't like as much was you're right. We have seen this before. Everything else, the Battle of the Blackwater was like a ship-to-ship combat thing. We haven't actually haven't seen something like that where a ship attacks a giant castle. Every single you're right, like a terrible wedding, battle at the wall with the scythe, burning a little girl, and like we haven't seen a lot of that stuff, but this we have seen before, and that's probably why everybody just not keen on it.
Yeah, that's a great point, because, and Joe was saying that earlier too, with having the battle with Drogon and the Dothraki and Drogon showing up a couple of episodes earlier was such an intense moment. To have Dany show up in that moment wasn't quite as, we knew she was coming.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite as crazy. And then the dragon getting killed was emotional, but it being one of the dragons, the show hasn't done a great job at establishing all 3 dragons as an emotional connection to the audience, at least not for me.
No.
Drogon, I think they have, but with the other 2, I don't think that they have. I think maybe spending more time with Tyrion in the Dragon Pit last season could have served a wonderful purpose for us to care about the other 2 dragons as much as we care about Drogon. So I feel like that was a wasted opportunity in that situation too.
Well, and your recent donator, Stephen Michaels Davis, he makes a good point, but at the same time though, there was a movie I saw ages ago that made fighting zombies fun. Ash versus the Evil Dead, not Ash versus the Evil Dead, Army of Darkness.
Yep.
Yes.
Evil Dead 3, Army of Darkness. That made fighting zombies fun. And I feel as though there's something they could have done with the dreaded episode this time around, was instead of giving us what we've seen, maybe have kind of like I feel like getting a white is kind of like a heist in a sense. You got to get in there, you got to sneak in there, take it, and you got to get the hell out.
Yeah.
They could have had it as a kind of like a heist type of thing. They didn't need all these dragons and shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but we got to wrap it up because we got to go home. We got to get that ice dragon because you're expecting it. It was in a book that one time, so we got to put it in here.
Let's play this message from Scott, our good buddy Igor. I haven't talked to him in a long time. Let's play this message.
Hey Phil, this is Scott from South Australia, or as you know, Igor in 1978. Just wanted to leave a message for your show today about how you think Gilly will react seeing that Craster's kids are basically White Walkers now. That she's going to be a little pissed off that John's killing her half brothers. Cheers, man.
So here we go. Carmine, the Gilly moment of the night. Will Gilly put this all together? Will she figure out the White Walkers are all her brothers? And
Fuck that bitch. Fucking like having to reveal John's the whole annulment thing. What a fuck you to every book reader ever. Wow, what a dick move. Fuck Gilly. I've nothing to say. Just fuck Gilly. That's all I have to say to that.
Okay, so that's a good
Gilly
point.
does suck.
Covers it.
She's
It
pretty
covers
annoying
it.
to watch on screen too.
Ellen R says, I think the Ice Dragon was supposed to be then. I think we haven't seen that before. Stephen Michael Davis says there is, this is what Carmine was referring to. And thank you so much for the donation. And you got Joe drink. So Joe, drink your fucking water. Stephen Michael Davis, there's nothing more. There's nothing interesting about people battling zombies. It gets old really quick unless it's done in interesting different ways. We got Mo Genie in the live chat right now. Lots of Lots of love to Mo in the chat. Rick Bubbly says you guys are awesome. See, that's why I read that comment, because you're awesome. Joe's hair is awesome. Fuck Gilly. I want Gilly's kid to sit on the Iron Throne. That is true. Send Gilly in. Maybe they'll be thrilled to see her sister and call the war off. So Mo, where did the chain come from? I think there's two possible solutions to where the fuck the chain came from. The chain either came from the Night King or one of the White Walkers having Iceman from the X-Men like powers that could create the chain fully. I know it was around
So if it can create the chain fully, just create a battering ram that can go through the wall.
No.
Fair. Maybe that won't work. Maybe. Sorry, I'm doing like little kid recess rules here. So no. My force field blocks that.
No. That chain was fucking stupid. That chain, the three chains.
Do you have any okay, this is the other defense for the chain is that the Night King has some kind of psychic ability, and he knew Danny would come there with the dragons and prepare
chain.
And somehow kind of was prepared beforehand. But still, the logistics of the whites getting down there to wrap around the chain.
And why did they had mammoths in their army? Why weren't mammoths pulling this thing out?
Mammoths are giants.
And giants.
Yeah, to like
Where are
in.
Fair.
Again, I gotta say.
Any explanation for the chain and stuff, Carmine, and all that? Do you any fansplaining there for you?
No, that was stupid. I mean, Joe is right. Like, you could have had giants and mammoths pull it. I mean, we saw that in season 4 where the mammoths and the giants were pulling apart the cage that was protecting the door to get into Castle Black. We've seen this before, so yeah, they could have done it. Why not? Or you could have just saved the CGI of all those chains altogether and just have Visceron just land on like a hard ice spot or something.
Yeah.
But then we would have definitely seen it coming. But since he was in water, we didn't see it coming.
Yeah. No.
Now,
for 4 seasons now.
I don't know the context of this, but I have to read it. Father Troll says, have you ever smoked a cigarette in your car, flicked it out the window, and then a minute later smelled something and you turn around and your grandmother's fingering herself in the back seat?
What?
What the fuck?
I don't know why. I just had to read that because it cracked me up. The real question...
Never.
Please no.
Never.
Not really. The real question is why the white giants doing that wouldn't be quicker. And someone else in the live chat says that the white giants couldn't walk on the ice, then they would fall through. That's why we didn't see them do that.
Yeah, but they're big. They could just step into the water.
Fair, considering that John could go in the water and come out, no problem. I'm sure the giants could too.
Yeah, dude.
Chain came from the Night King's wall defense. It was all a setup guy, and the walkers are not stupid. Joe's killing it tonight with shitty plot holes. Stupid Hammer faked me out. Then she gives you the wet willy. Gilly, 2020 president. White Walkers have been around for thousands of years, and that's why it's beyond the realm of possibility. And I guess that's kind of the answer to it all. I guess that
they've been making that chain for years.
Yeah, they were prepared for it. So okay, so the first fight's easy. They kill the White Walker, the rest of them die, and yada 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 yada. We see all the White Walkers in the army kind of running towards them after the screams, and we get to Gendry running, and John tells him to go because he's the fastest, and then we cut off to him. He goes in one direction, they go in another direction to let Gendry go get back to the wall, and he runs back. He encounters no whites. He just falls eventually and falls right at the wall. He made it. So then we get to the night and they're on the rock. The everything's snarling and twitching. It's a Walking Dead moment. And blah, 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 Davos. Okay, I just want to get to the next morning when the Hound wakes up. And first of all, Jorah and Jon talk about video game rules about, you kill the host and everyone else dies. Barrett comes over and has a one-liner. We kill him, everybody dies. And then why the fuck
no one brought a bow and arrow
did the Hound throw a rock at? I mean, I know it's funny the Hound threw it, but that was one of those little moments that kind of moderately bothered me because it was funny, but it just forced the plot a little bit because we needed some reason for the White Walkers to run. So the Hound, for some reason, decides to be a dick and throw a rock at a White Walker, which is funny as shit. I laughed out loud at the scene. I did. It was great. I enjoyed every moment of it from just like a visual standpoint. But then the White Walkers realize that they can walk on the ice, and then they start charging them. So I don't know. Anyone else have any thoughts on the impetus for the White Walkers charging with the Hound throwing the rock?
Well, I gotta say too. So it's already like super fucking cold, and everything's mostly frozen. I don't know why the lake wasn't fully frozen to begin with, right? But don't these White Walkers bring the cold with them? The super fucking cold, like cold enough to start putting fires out and shit. Like,
okay, so
why wasn't that lake frozen again in the middle of the night?
Fair question, Joe, and I think that lays credence to that the Night King knew Daenerys was going to show up, and he wanted a dragon.
Yeah, it was his plan the whole time.
He was planning the whole time. I know it sucks, but I think that's what it comes down to.
I shouldn't have to that's. Yeah. I mean, all right. So why even watch the show? I can just imagine whatever the fuck I want is going to happen in the next episode. I'm just going to imagine myself, and that will be what's happened for the fucking finale.
You could do that
if I have to make up half the shit that the show wants me to know and like talk about it with 12 people to come up with like, reasons for the magical. It's magical fucking thinking. I don't know.
Well, okay. With this case, the ice
was broken.
The ice, they presumably woke up when the sun was rising or something. So overnight, the ice would have hardened and frozen over because it's much colder at night, and so in the morning, they can run on it. Whereas after the whole day with the sun beating on it, the ice is thinner, and so they fall through.
And the better question, and I'm going to throw this over to Carmine, why didn't the Night King just bring his storm there, like people are saying, and freeze the water and run over there at any time?
Probably because of what you said. So when last episode, when Bran sends those ravens over there to scout out things, and the Night King looks at him and he breaks the connection. It's a theory that either the Night King is Bran from the future or some stupid shit, which is now not a thing, or that the Night King is a green seer. So the whole level hierarchy goes: you got Warg, someone who can just warg themselves into wolves. That's it. You have Skin Changer with Bran he can warg into he can go into anything else like ravens and polar bears or whatever. And then you have Green Seer, which is a level above that. So it's possible that the Night King, being a first man and being created by the children, it's possible that he has green seeing abilities. And could he look into the future? Sure, why the fuck not? And that's probably why he didn't freeze it over.
Yeah, good.
Trying to get that dragon because he knew it would be coming.
Gendry time to get to the wall, to get the raven to Daenerys.
So if he can see in the future, then he knows he's going to lose, and why is he even doing any of this?
He might not lose
because he doesn't think he can lose. Maybe he sees into the future, and what they're probably going to do is that stupid fucking thing where it's like he's seeing to the future, he knows he's going to win, but Bran is going to change the future and make it a different outcome.
That's because the future is not set, right? So how does he even know the dragon? If Tyrion had managed to say the right thing, the dragon doesn't come in the first place. The future is not set, but the past, the ink is dry.
Do you think now this is for a question from Leslie Powell, and I'm going to throw this to Carmen. Do you think that do you think we'll see the use of glass candles? It'll be more interesting and safer than the constant use of ravens. Hello, the Night King is coming. Will we ever see glass ravens in the show?
Candles? No, that's like a book only thing. There are certain things that are book only thing. It's kind of like Preston called it like medieval Skype. Basically, you can communicate from long distances using it.
Did glass candles come into the books? I don't
remember. It's like a maester thing and shit. So they Thoros in the midst of all this dies, and Tormund. I like Tormund's reaction to the flaming sword and all that. That's pretty cool. And I also trivial thing, but I enjoyed watching Beric put out the flaming sword in the snow. I don't know, it just looked kind of cool.
It was neat. That was neat. I like that.
As I mentioned, John and Jorah talk about video game rules about killing the host, and all the other bitches die. And the Night King, we got to kill the Night King, and they'll all die. You don't get it. He's hard. Sansa meets with the Maester. We already talked about this. And then she's really fucking bitchy to Brienne, like really bitchy to Brienne, because this is what people have a problem with Sansa for, really, because she's horrible to the help. And she yells at Brienne and makes her feel like shit, and she sends her away and doesn't want Podrick either, even though Sansa could really use some time with Podrick. So Sansa says, I'm not a child. I'm Kevin McAllister. I can handle Joe Pesci all by myself. I don't need any help. So she pulls her like Home Alone moment there. So then we get Daenerys running off to go save Jon. And I guess all of this, and this isn't hate. This is just obvious. I guess all of this happened in the matter of a day, right? This had to all happen in the matter of a day. Like, that's not me shitting on anything. I'm just asking a question, right?
It seems like there was they only spent one night there on the rock.
This all happened in a day. So
and it had and like they even walked to that point
for like 2 days,
within like 12 hours or something. Like
so it probably
was walking.
It's probably not too far. It's probably really close to Beyond the Wall if we're trying to like make the logistics work here.
It would have to be. And again, I go back to that. Why is Gendry the fastest? I've never seen snow before. I've never been up here before. I don't know where the fuck I'm going, but yeah, sure, I'll run back to the fucking wall.
Has John even seen him run? Like, how does
the
he
fastest
know he's the
though?
fastest?
Right, but he's the fastest. He'll be faster than any of us.
Even
Don't
though
worry.
you've never seen snow before, I think Tormund would probably be the fastest.
Yeah, I would have thought so too. He's like
really,
strutting through with his.
Northman.
Everybody's got their hoods and capes up and shit, and he's got his hair out, and he's like, I love the air. I can breathe again.
his cock's out. I did the same thing. Gendry fast. The Raven got to Dany, and Dany got the message back to Eastwatch. So it had to have all happened instantaneously. Like, it had to happen in a matter of a day. They didn't spend more than one night on that rock.
No, they definitely did not.
So it happened in a couple of days. So, okay, the Hound looks at the dead, decides to be funny, and throws a rock. You fucking cunts. They all attack. It's a huge fight. It's and they're about to be overwhelmed, and they're just all coming in, but they fight off pretty well. Jon retreats them to the back of the rock, and they're about to be totally destroyed. Tormund almost dies, but ultimately none of our fighters here of our fellowship die. And except for some
red shirts that come out of nowhere.
Yep.
And then right when we're about to lose, Dany shows up and starts killing people with all three killing dead people with all three dragons. And Jon gets a resurgence and starts fighting. Drogon lands, which looks really fucking. I like this. I like the way whenever Drogon lands, it's just a very cool effect. He lands and just starts fucking firing at whites. It was fun. It was visually fun. And everyone jumps on Drogon's back. And I got to say, Dany really has that dragon trained really well.
Very well. Yeah,
Dany needs to, if the dragon is that trained very well, what the fuck is wrong with her that she's like, oh, I'll shoot fire at these troops, but like never shoots fire at the commander on horseback at Jaime. Never shoots fire at the three commanders on the fucking hill, lording over all the fucking army sitting on horseback and shit. What the fuck, Dany? Do something.
Yeah.
Do something tactically fucking right. You burned 1,000 fucking wagons? Really? No, your Dothraki horde don't need food on that barren fucking island you call Dragonstone.
No.
What the fuck, Dany? Damn, you're a fucking idiot.
So a good question. Why didn't Dany attack the Night King and the White Walkers? That would have been a smarter move. So. She doesn't know. She just needed to save Jon Snow. So she comes back in and everyone saves the day. We all know this. Yada, yada, yada. The Night King goes over, pulls out a spear. And we've said this ad nauseum. Chooses not to throw it at Drogon with everyone on it. Instead, throws it at one of the other dragons flying. It hits Viserion, and Viserion goes down. And kind of a really cool visual. It might not have been as emotional for me as it could have been. I'm sure it was emotional for some people, but for me, it just didn't hit.
Blood was nice,
but visually it looked really cool. The dragon like lit on fire and fell down. It was kind of cool watching it melt under the water and its head slip under to see its eye. So the next time we see its eye being turned blue, we kind of see the parallel of that. I thought that was kind of neatly done. And then Danny freaks out and is upset for a few seconds, and John tells her to run away as the Night King gives John the fuck you look of like, what? I just killed a dragon. I don't give a fuck. And went to go grab it. Yeah, I'm going to do it again. And John yells to Danny and tells her to go away and decides to fight off some more whites instead of running to the dragon.
Yeah, right.
And he gets tackled and thrown underwater, and he's dead. There's no coming back from that. He just got tackled underwater.
Of course
Yeah, of course. No, he's done.
All that heavy leather and armor and
he's done.
Down there with the dragon.
He's done. But and Danny takes off and looks down and is upset because she lost her dragon and lost Jon Snow as well. So ultimately, a few seconds after that, Jon Snow drags himself out of the water right in front of where Longclaw is.
Yep.
Comes out. We don't know how he got away with it, but he did because he's fucking amazing. And
don't lose it again, Jon.
Jon Snow is awesome. He's got the sword. He's limping away, trying to get away from the scene. But the whites spot him and they come after him. And right when he's about to be attacked, out of nowhere comes Benjen that kills a bunch of White Walkers. Because he keeps saying White Walkers, whites, and runs over, jumps off his horse, gives his horse to Jon Snow. Jon Snow gets ridden away on the horse, and Benjen, we look back and see Benjen getting overwhelmed by the whites, and they can kill Benjen. And
he can escape with a cripple and a girl and himself on that horseback, but he can't escape with just him and Jon.
No.
And he had to give Jon the horse.
There's no time. No, what are you talking about? Yes, there is.
Let me just stand here as you ride away and twirl my rope for 30 seconds while I'm waiting for the whites to come at me. You see how far Jon was away on that horse when they finally got to bed? Oh.
Hannibal O'Neill says, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, and fucking bitch. Thank you, fucking. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about all of that fucking shit? I don't know. Yeah,
I think I've made it pretty clear.
Yeah. I agree with Joe. It could have been done way better. And yeah, I mean, even if Benjen can't go back past Beyond the Wall, he could still chill near Eastwatch.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
How about
Hang
chill on
on
top
the
of the
north
wall?
side of the wall. Damn.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess Benjen probably thought that he couldn't do it, so he might as well sacrifice himself for Jon. I think it's just that he wants to avoid hanging out with Jon at all costs because he thinks Jon's a bummer.
Yeah.
Like, when Jon got to the wall, he had to like take off, and now in this situation, he's like, I just really don't.
I'll stay here. I'll stay here. You go ahead.
So
I'll take care of these guys.
So Jon Snow heads out. Then we get to the Hound throwing the dead man on the boat, and Tormund, they both look at each other. Hope I meet you again. Hope I don't. Danny's in the tower. I'm just going to try to zip through the end of this episode. Danny and Jorah in the tower. Danny looks, for whatever it's worth, more upset about Jon Snow than a dragon. I just want a minute. I hope Jon Snow comes. And she's upset she lost her child and Jon Snow. And she heads inside. Jorah sees blah, 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 blah. Jon Snow's back. Yeah. And
and shirtless.
So then we see the Sansa and Arya in the room, and Arya and Sansa finds Arya's faces, and we kind of already talked about Arya. And Carmine, do you think? And I might have already asked you this in some way, but we're just talking about this scene. Do you think that Arya was testing Sansa there, testing her loyalty with that game? And do you think Sansa passed for Arya?
I have no idea what the fuck Arya's doing. It's a shitty answer. I'm sorry, but
no, that's okay. No,
I have no idea what's happening with any of these. I'm really hoping this is just a ploy to throw Baelish off. If not, I have no idea what the fuck these two are doing.
Same.
Yeah, I'm trying to add more meaning to it, but that's not a bad answer. That's an honest answer. Like I want there to be more to it. So I'm.
And if there's not, they better at least break out the fucking Jello pool soon.
You want Sansa versus Arya Jello wrestling? Sansa has no chance in that fight.
No, she probably does.
Zero. Sansa dies quick, but that's what you want, isn't it, Joe? Sansa dead quick.
A little bit of green Jello.
It just seems like it's I don't know. Winterfell is not my favorite part of this season. It seems like a stall in some ways.
It was fine in the first couple episodes. We got some of that northern politics. They did answer some lingering questions from last season. What happens to the houses that betray the North, like the Umbers and Karstarks. We never got to see the Boltons, because they do have their own like little castle. We never got any closure on that, but we got some northern politics this time around, which was fine. It's just ever since Arya arrived, it just started going a little downhill for me.
Very much.
Now, we have two points in the comment section I want to get Carmine's thoughts on. Enchantment of Eternity says, George R. R. Martin never officially said that Cold Hands is Benjen. And Ren Redwood says, in the extras of this episode, I didn't watch this yet, Dan and Dave called Benjen Cold Hands instead of Benjen. So what do you feel about that, Carmine? Is Cold Hands and Benjen, do you think Cold Hands is Benjen in the books?
So there's some evidence people have been throwing around that goes against it. I mean, in the books, the reason people say Benjen isn't Cold Hands is because I guess the Children of the Forest say that the guy who is supposed to be Cold Hands died long ago, and they're ancient creatures, so long ago is probably really long ago. And Benjen has only been missing for like 2-3 years in the books. But what I think George Martin is doing, he's doing one of those things where it's like it is Benjen, but it's not Benjen, so technically in his head it's not Ben. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's probably just doing one of that. And I mean, the showrunners have spoiled things before. Keep that in mind. Like, they spoiled Time Traveling Bran. Like, Time Traveling Bran is a thing in the books now. They spoiled that. So.
So let's get to this scene right here. John says he's so sorry. Danny gives him a look. John says, hey, baby, I'm really into you. Hey, baby, you want to fuck? And then she says, I'm going to fuck up the real enemy. Then I'm going to fuck you. The Night King's going to pay. He killed my baby. And I'm talking about you. You want to know how I got those scars, he said? Yeah, I do, Danny said. And then we're going to destroy the Night King. I'm going to bend my knee to you if I could get up. He calls her Danny. She says, don't call me Danny.
Creepy.
My lame-ass asshole brother called me Danny.
Yeah, it felt awkward when he said Danny.
Yeah, it did.
Like,
Very
really?
much so.
You know her that well enough now? You're calling her Danny?
Mm-hmm.
And the whatever, and he agrees to bend the knee. She agrees to fight for him, and he basically, what I think he's doing, and this is gonna really geek me out as a Survivor fan. I think he's playing like Game of Thrones Survivor, where there is a season where this dude knew he couldn't win because no one would vote for him, so he decided to marry the person that won, so he got the $1 million anyway. So I think he's like bending the knee because he knows he's gonna fuck her and probably be her husband soon. So he's gonna be the king anyway. So he doesn't give a fuck. Yeah. So he's like, okay, I'll bend the knee because you're gonna be mine anyway. Whatever. So I think he's covering both his bases. He
hedging his bets.
But it was a little cringy though, like when he called her Danny. That was
it's horrible.
That. See, that's why it doesn't work though. Like I get so much shit on Twitter. People always get on my case for it. That's why John and Danny don't work, because like they're on like nickname basis now. Like what? And look, I blame the season. I blame the fact that HBO wanted 2 seasons instead of 1 full-blown season. We could have gotten 13 episodes this time around, maybe. But instead, or maybe 20 episodes, 15, who knows. But instead they wanted, 2 split seasons. So yeah, it just feels a little disconjointed. And I don't know, like John and Danny should never end up. John should end up with, what's that chick from The Umbers? What's that? Not The Umbers. What's that girl from Carstar? John should end up with Alice Carstar. That's that.
Yeah. One of our callers wants Bran with her, but John, it would make more sense with John. Yeah. And yes, Leanna Flynn, thank you for being the one person that knows who the fuck I'm talking about, Boston Rob. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
And HBO does want the 2 seasons because nobody cancels their subscription between seasons. They cancel their subscription when their series is over and there's nothing else on HBO to watch that they don't that they like enough to justify the money. So, and then they stretch it out like they did with The Sopranos. We don't have anything else that's going to be a blockbuster coming out. So can we get you to like delay production for an extra, year? So we won't see Game of Thrones the last season until probably spring of 19.
Michael Bennett says Elisa Karstark is 13. John can wait. John's a patient guy.
Danny was like 14 when she married Khal Drogo.
Come on, John's a respectful guy. So
but that's a good point that Joe makes. I never knew that actually, that people would do that. And that actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, if I was an HBO exclusive, if I was at the top, what I would do is try to make Westworld the new big thing, promote the shit out of that, or maybe get I don't know, they have their own cool anthology series. This gonna sound so insulting, but HBO really needs to start following Netflix's lead.
There's also going to be a Sopranos prequel series coming out soon.
There?
And HBO is going to probably get behind where David Chase is talking about Tony's father. That's in development right now at HBO, and I think they're hoping that that's going to bring back, a lot of interest in their other big. Because with HBO, it's really about the two peaks of their shows. There's a lot of great HBO shows, but where it comes to breaking into the mainstream and breaking into pop culture or whatever that stuff. Not that stuff's important, but it's important to a network. The Sopranos and Game of Thrones are the two watershed high points. So I think they're going to probably try to go back, since David Chase is interested in doing it and interested in developing it. I think they're probably going to sink a lot.
Well, we're also getting like a spin-off for Thrones, right? So it's kind of like a weird thing, because I want to keep saying Game of Thrones, but at the same time, I want to, do another. I wouldn't say do sci-fi because that could be so much money. It's a shame that Netflix picked up The Witcher because Thrones, HBO could do a lot with The Witcher. It's basically Thrones, but more dark fantasy and more adult. So, but I never knew that about what Joe said. That makes a lot of sense as to why they would extend it.
So our final scene in this episode is the big chains come out. The whites either swim, like whatever the logistics of it are. The whites pull out the Viserion out of the water, and the Night King. It was done interesting where we don't see him touching it. We just see him walking towards it, and then we flash to the eye of the Viserion turning blue and or opening and being blue. So
cheesy.
You thought it was cheesy, Joe?
Well, it just rung of the baby, Craster's baby. We saw that before too.
Yeah.
But now the Night King has a dragon. So now our enemy...
Yeah, it was Danny's baby this time instead of Craster's baby this time. Come on. We've seen it. Another thing that we have seen that they were like, the audience doesn't remember this shit. We'll put that in this episode too.
Edgier because it's a dragon.
Right. No, we've seen the blue eye open. Yeah. The baby eye turn blue.
So at this point right now, so that's the end of our episode. At this point right now, the White Walkers have to be going to the wall. Right, Carmine, they have to be going to the wall. There's no more stalling, right? Like they have next episode, they have to be fucking, they're right there.
How does John get back to the wall before them?
Weren't they supposed to be going towards the wall at the end of Hardhome? Wasn't that
right?
Like the thing?
And Hardhome is not that far from the wall, like where they've been fucking all up and down the whole fucking continent, back and forth, like, but yeah, they're still not at the wall yet.
Nope. So before
chasing that fucking bear. Where did my bear go?
They are responsible bear owners, if nothing else.
Before we start to wrap it up, let's play. We got 2 more voicemails to play, and then we'll call it an evening here. Let's listen to this one from our buddy Analysis. I think this is from.
Phil, what's good? It's Analysis. I was just calling because talking about the point where you said that you think that Sansa was getting played by Littlefinger in that scene. But I mean, what I was thinking when we look at the episode, we see Sansa, the scene after she sends Brienne away. So what I was thinking is that she actually understood what was going on with what Littlefinger was trying to do, and then in order to like protect Arya or Brienne, sent Brienne away so that Littlefinger couldn't play her against her. So I mean, that was my take from it. But
so she sends Brienne away to protect Arya?
Well, more to protect Brienne, I would think.
Oh, so Arya doesn't kill Brienne.
So the real part of that question, and we talked about this a little bit tonight. What do you guys think? We'll go around. Do you think Sansa's going to get the best of Littlefinger in this situation? Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sansa and Arya are already getting the better of him. If they're not, then this is completely absurd because there's no way that Littlefinger's getting one over on Arya.
Yep.
Even if he might, with Sansa, when she's smart, she is smart. She knows what he's all about. She's said this many, many times. And I think the only reason to send Brienne away is so she's not in the middle of it all.
Very.
She doesn't respond to the threat of the sister against the sister because that would ruin the whole plan.
Good point, Katie. And Mark says Dragon White worst fan service ever. Let's go. Dragons will knock down. Will help them get through the wall. Joe, would you prefer him do a blue asshole opening instead of an eye? Nothing can defeat a white dragon now. Only fire kills whites. Fire doesn't kill dragons, and the dragons and Danny would have to fight on their own. Viserion's going to breathe frost instead of fire now. He's a white. So someone asked this question earlier to us. So is he, and I'll ask Carmine because we all answered already, is he an ice dragon or a white dragon?
I guess it would be technically a white dragon. I mean,
no.
Is an ice dragon really a thing? To be a dragon, you have to breathe fire, but he's technically dead, so yeah, I guess it would be like a white dragon.
Yep. Do you want your Klingon wedding in full Klingon or just the No, sorry.
By the way, this is just so completely random. So, one website I never go to for like my Game of Thrones reviews or whatever is IGN because they're so fucking. They just like to suck the show's cock. They gave it a 6.9. You have a problem when IGN is giving your episode a shitty review.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Well, that's like
See, I think that's a good review.
Nice. Wow.
Like that's kind of nice. I'm still like down in the
Well, but
floors.
for them,
Let's
kisses.
Joe, spread that butthole. Spread that butthole.
that blue butthole, Phil.
Does the dragon breathe fire or ice? Fire.
Nothing. It's dead.
It's dead. It breathes nothing. Nothing. Let's listen to this.
We all know it's gonna breathe blue fire. That's a thing. They're gonna do it. Every cliche thing in the book, they're gonna do.
Yep.
They're going.
What was the thing? What was the thing? Oh, right. So the thing that we spoke about on the podcast was so John and Danny are gonna get together, and as they get together, the Night King's gonna attack the wall, and the wall's gonna come down as Danny's dress comes down. It's gonna be like one of those symbolic.
Oh no!
Come.
Oh god! And they are.
Her
aren't
protections
they? They're
are
doing
down.
that.
What's even douchier is that like is nobody telling the guys at the wall to get out of there? Like there's a massive army. Like
They have a shield that guards the realms of
That's
men.
their job.
Forget will we see Theon this season? Will we see Ed again? So let's take our last call of the evening, or our last voicemail of the evening, I mean. And
Hey, Joe, this is John. I just want to say, fucking Joe, man, I like you, man. Where's my Theon? I need my Theon. Please tell me why there's no Theon.
Need your Theon, huh?
Okay, we'll go to Joe, and then we'll go over to Carmine about the Greyjoys because I'm curious if or Carmine first. Do you think we'll see Euron again this season?
Yeah, we'll probably in the preview he was in the.
I didn't watch the preview, so he is in the preview, so we will.
Well, he wasn't in the preview, but the Iron Fleet was anchored at King's Landing, so we're likely going to see him again. The reason we're not getting that many Greyjoys is because George isn't done. The Greyjoys are, in a sense, secondary characters. George focuses on the top six. You got Jon, Dany, of course, Tyrion, Cersei, Jaime, Bran, Arya. You got to focus on those characters first. When they were making the show and doing all that stuff, there weren't that many bulletin points for secondary characters like Theon and Euron. So, I mean, that's probably why we're not seeing them as much.
Yep.
Theon barely was in this episode, even though the actor is amazing.
So
Theon was in this episode?
No, Theon. I'm sorry. I meant this season.
Right.
Yeah, he's one of the best actors on the show, and I agree, Timo. I feel bad for Rhaegal for losing his brother there, but I hope that means he's gonna be able to buddy up with Drogon more, and become even more of a badass. Joe, will we see Theon in the next episode? Will he? He probably was in the preview. So
yeah, I mean, as far as Theon and Euron go, Theon right now is mining dragon glass. He's been tasked to that, being the little shit fuck that he is. He's got nothing else to do. And Euron, I just don't give a shit about either one of these two people. Like, if we don't see him again, good. If we do see him again, okay. I mean, I do like the actor that's playing Theon. I do not like anything about Euron. Right down to his fucking dumbass fucking.
I do like him a lot more this season, and that's I like how they're using his character more, and in the time, I think the actors made more out of his time. I'm still not a huge fan of the way that the Greyjoys have been portrayed on the show, but I think he works better in what they've done. No, I guess last season he worked 50%. I didn't mind him on the scene with Balon when he pushed Balon off the bridge. He was all right in that scene. He was kind of menacing, but then I didn't like him in the King's Moot. So I guess it's hit and miss with him. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. I keep wanting it to be Ragnar. You know, Ragnar should have been you're on Greyjoy. I don't care. Just cross over.
Anybody. I don't know. I didn't like all the Greyjoy shit in the books, and I didn't like it in the show so far. I haven't liked any of it. And it's all just seems mute. It all seems like for the shit that they did cut out of the show, I would have rather seen much more of like the Arya involved like warging wolf shit from the books than any of the Greyjoy shit. I would have rather have seen Lady Stoneheart than any of the Greyjoy shit. I would have rather seen the more of the Brotherhood without banners shit in the countryside or whatever that you hear about. Like, just there's so much more I would have rather than.
Yeah, but you don't like the Greyjoys even in the.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I'm
Hannibal says, "Oh, we'll check that out, Hannibal, after the show. I'll make sure that gets fixed, and we'll figure that all out." So, and thank you so much for the chat donation. So to end things up, last but not least, Carmine, what are you hoping for the season finale? Like, what would make you happy to see in the season finale?
I don't know, to be honest. No more stupid decisions. I don't know. I really don't know. This season has been really big. I like this season. I like it better than season 6 for what we did got. I just don't like them when they rush certain things. Like I said before, the season's fine. There are a lot of people always complaining about quality. The quality has gone down. Once again, it could be because as HBO shows go on, they break in quality, but I don't think so. The quality, yeah, character development may suffer in some places. Story development, whatever. But the acting's still good. The dialogue in a lot of places is still good. Set pieces are great. Costumes are great. Weapon design is great. CGI has gotten better in some places. The dragons are fantastic. That polar bear, not so much. But
no, absolutely
still good.
And to go on your point, the character development stuff, it makes sense that it would stall when you get into the end game stuff. You've built up these characters for so many seasons, so it's same thing happened on something like Deep Space Nine, for instance, or something where you spend 5 seasons building up characters, and in the last couple of seasons you can just have the war going on and not focus on the characters again because you've built up so much character stuff, and that's why. The character stuff in this episode was the best part of it for me. It was some of the action stuff that you can.
Yeah, like the first half of the Fellowship, them doing stuff. Someone in the comment section mentioned it. Dave and Dan, they're so ready to move on from Thrones. They're already working on like a new series for HBO, like some kind of Confederate thing where like I think the South won or something like that. I don't even know what it is.
High Castle with the Civil War.
Yeah, there you go. Apparently they're going to start doing that ASAP. Like they want to move on, and I understand. So the best thing they should have done was maybe give the helm to someone else.
Yeah, to Vince Gilligan. Give it to Vince Gilligan for whatever it's worth. I don't care. I don't care if he's never done fantasy. He'd still kick its ass. But on basically on that, Joe, what do you want to see in the season finale?
No more stupid decisions.
to quote Carmine. Katie, what do you want to see in the season finale?
Same.
No more.
Carmine, you had the answer of the night.
Yeah. Phil, you have to have a ring a bell every time you make a Deep Space Nine reference. I do, Mark. It's horrible. It's horrible. And yeah, because I feel, just to go on that one last point you guys were making, this episode, the stuff with the crew hanging out and stuff, that could have been its own episode if they were taking time to go to your point earlier, Joe, about the episodes and the rushing and why you were focusing on that. I do. I'm just trying to enjoy what's happening, and it's a reality that we're getting 7 and 6 episodes. And Carmine's right, what he was saying earlier, we should have just got one super packed 13, 14 episode season. It had to be the 2 seasons.
We should have gotten like at least 12, 13 episodes.
Yes.
And then top it off with maybe like 2, maybe 1, 2, 3 movies that end it in one big trilogy or one big movie. You can show it in theaters if you like. I mean, that would make a shit ton of money.
Yep.
You know, just that's how it should have ended. Like the very last, the final battle, going into the final battle, deciding who sits on the throne, how you do this. That should have been one giant 2-hour and 30-minute movie. I would watch it. I would pay to go see it in IMAX. Yeah.
Me too. We even went to go. We were like the 3 people that went to go see season 4.
Yeah.
The movie thing. We were the ones. We were the ones that went to that silliness. It was great though. It was especially the Battle of the Bastards. That was not the Battle of the Bastards.
Battle of the Wall.
The Battle of the Wall. That was good to see in a movie theater. The other episode was kind of cool, but it was the Battle of the Wall was good.
That site was freaking awesome on that 80-foot screen.
Yeah, it was cool to see on that 80-foot screen in like in a room full of people. We were the loudest ones though. But anyways, I want to thank Carmine for joining us here and sticking around till the end of the show.
Hey man, I'm sorry I wasn't on earlier like I wanted to be. It's just YouTube has gotten hectic this year, so.
No, it's about time. No, you have a fucking crazy schedule with all the videos you're putting out on the podcast and stuff. So if you haven't already, and what the fuck you're waiting for, subscribe to Carmine and check out his stuff. Do it. I know he's like, no, don't subscribe to me, but no, subscribe to Carmine. Check out his shit. Please do. And Joe and Katie, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week to talk about the season finale. I will also be back on Wednesday night at 10 o'clock to talk with Tony Teflon and get your feedback. So if anyone wants to get your feedback in for that, leave your voicemails or text at 781-990-8509. You can also jump in the Discord group, join the Discord group, keep the discussion going, but there's also a feedback group there to leave your questions. You can also email me at IGotIssuesMan@gmail.com. Thank you to everyone that donated on Super Chat tonight. You guys are fucking amazing. Sorry we weren't focusing too much on the wheels. A lot to talk about in this episode tonight, and I'm fucking drunk and basically drank every time someone Super Chat donate. But you guys are amazing, and we'll keep the fun going with that. And like I said, we'll be back on Wednesday night. Carmine, again, huge thanks. Joe and Katie, and I can't wait to take this fucking stupid bun out of my head. No, fuck me. No, don't thank me. I'm an asshole. No, thank you guys. No, but thank you so much.
But thank you.
And
every good asshole should be thanked before it gets fucked and after.
I have no response to that. Talk to you guys next time. If you haven't already, please like this video. Please share this video. And thank you to everyone. You guys have been fucking amazing in the live motherfucking chat. Good night.
Peace.
Oh, wait. Everyone.
Oh, wait. Everyone drink now.
Cheer up. Oh, no, okay. It's a sad night for dragons. No, I don't want that shit. Good night, everybody.